So we start with glittering skyscrapers towering over a bustling metropolis, piercing the afternoon sky with just an extraordinary height, insane architecture. We kind of move down from the skyline. There's a huge bustling city below. Everything about the city seems to like beat in perfect unison, like pumping kick drums and synths on an electronic music track. There's thousands of automated cars that move with just insane speed, perfectly precise, moving as like a single swarm in perfect harmony. People are moving through the streets like clockwork. The roads and buildings are immaculately clean. They've been clean ever since the AI took hold. No one really knows how it stays so clean. No one cleans it, but everything about the city gleams with kind of an eerie perfection. As people bustle down the walkway of the street, a single man in a long coat and strange tattoos moves against the crowd. He stands up on a step near the bottom floor of a huge apartment complex and begins to shout, "Listen, people, you're being controlled. The corporation and church dictate everything you do. They set an algorithm to run your life while they line their pockets and set you as batteries to run their lives. It doesn't have to be..." A crack of a sniper rifle from an unknown location sends the man's brain splattering onto a nearby wall, and a red mist fills the air. The crowd walking by hardly blinks as yet another moron dies. Within moments, his body is gone. The walls are perfectly clean again. We see down a nearby alleyway, a man in full SWAT team gear kicks down a door with an assault rifle leveled. He uses the chip in his brain to send out a call to his team without saying a word, and rushes forward into the room. He looks down in horror as he steps onto a strange symbol drawn onto the ground. A vial of liquid falls, knocked over by the cop kicking over a tripwire as it shatters and spills onto the symboled ground. He starts to scream, but it's cut short as his body is transmuted from flesh and into stone. A woman with a circled square tattooed on the back of her hand walks up and draws one more symbol on the newly stone statue, and with a tap, it crumbles into a coat of dust on the ground. The woman walks back into the room and down another set of hidden stairs, and we see 3 other people gathered around a metal table. "Get ready to go," she says. "The next SWAT team member will be here with backup in 7 minutes and 43 seconds. We should be gone by then." She looks down towards you, Lutze. What would she see? What would he be doing as you prepare to move from this location that's been discovered into the next?
He'd be looking. He would like call up a timer into like his left eye so that you can see the 7 minutes and 43 seconds counting down with a thought, and he would like look around at the rest. He's always to some extent ready. He doesn't ever really look panicked, and he would just give a nod. Some of the metallic sort of wires dangling from the back of his head.
And Iris, what's going through your mind as all this is unfolded and you prepare to move out from yet another hideout?
Iris is putting the last few vials and bottles, powders, away in a bag. She taps the bag and draws a circle on it, and it shifts into a hardened case that's impenetrable, except by her. She just sighs. They're always moving.
And finally, sorry, I lost the name. Void Shadow. What's going through your mind?
Void Shadow is, I'm not going to say frantically, but she's quite quickly typing in. She's looking at all these kind of screens that are in front of her, projected in front of her, and she's quickly erasing their trace that they've been there and making sure that nothing is left behind for these guys to find as they are preparing to leave. And she's making sure she has all of their information is gone and that they have it all there with them.
The woman that's entered the room, you would know her as Lucy, a fellow member of your group. She's an alchemist, much like Iris. We kind of look around. All right, well, we should get going. We don't want to be here when the next crew gets here. We make a scene. So it'll all be over before we can even get to it.
Litze would just nod and begin moving as quickly as he can, which is alarmingly quickly.
Void Shadow types a little bit faster. She's like, almost there. Just about got it.
We don't have
There.
time.
Good. It's done. We should go.
So I'll begin moving, running.
Yeah, the three of you move out of the room, back up the stairs, out of the kicked-in door, past the dust that used to be stone, and then used to be a cop before that. As you all sprint away from this building, this apartment complex, you can hear sirens coming in from behind, making it away just in time as another wave of SWAT members burst in to find nothing left. Lucy will look over to the others, the three of you, say, there's a meeting spot. I think we can make it to. A couple others can form up a plan for how you guys are going to get in. We should be able to hopefully get this done today. Is there anything that any of the three of you would like to do while you're on the way towards this meeting spot? Yeah, so you just move with a straightforward determination, knowing the task at hand, and that you'll probably be followed if you stray too far from the path. She leads you guys away from any of the major streets, not driving because all the cars are tied in to the automated system. They know you could be traced, so she leaves it behind for now. About half an hour goes by. You're brought into like a very kind of rundown. Well, not run down. It looks like it should be run down from its size, but it's strangely clean, like everything else. Like its structure is poor, but it's somehow holding up well despite it. She would kind of look over to the rest of you. All right, this should be the place. She'll lead you inside. There's a couple other men. Some of them you've seen before. Most of them you haven't. There's one man. He's like covered in tattoos of computer code. Just lines of strange coding that seem to create some strange program. It's not actually legible. Like if you were to put it into a system, it wouldn't run. But somehow it seems to hold meaning, at least for him. And Void Shadow, you would kind of not recognize the literal meaning, but understand at least symbolically what he's trying to do. He would look to the rest of you and say, good. He got you out before it was too late.
We have 4.5 minutes to spare.
Good. You always did run a tight ship. I'm sure you guys understand the severity of what you're trying to do here today. If they manage to complete this little project of theirs, it's game over. The little bit, the one wrench in their wheel is us. It stops them from running everything on their own. Most people are too scared or too stupid to put up a fight. But we are not most people. And you would see, like in your mind, several images flash up that he sends over to you if you would open them. You could see that it's pictures of this compound. It's on the outside of the city, away from most of the high-rise buildings and sprawling residentials. A fenced-off compound. You can see guards stationed at some of the main entrances to this place. Well, unfortunately, since it's air-gapped, we can't really get you anything about the inside, but you can see it's at least where you'll be headed. It's going to be heavily guarded. Mercenary soldiers will have guns. They'll never admit to it publicly, considering it's any kind of air quotes heresy or whatever. I wouldn't be surprised if there were people like us in there too.
On their side.
Yes, well, it's easy for them to say it's heresy and act it out upon the civilians and people who might not agree with them. They're not quite so judgmental of people who work for them, it seems.
They're likely to have magical security then.
It's possible. It's like basically the only place in the city that's not wired into everything. So, unfortunately, we can't give you a full layout. But it's definitely a possibility. I wouldn't imagine there'd be a whole lot of people like us there, considering there's not a whole lot of people like us to begin with. But caution should be, of course, the #1 goal.
How long have we been monitoring it? Has the security changed? Do they know we're coming?
As far as I know, they shouldn't. As best to our knowledge, we've kept it under lock. Communicated only securely, as best as we can, making sure that everything we do is encrypted, done quietly and carefully, both physically and electronically. They keep a steady guard on the place, rotating people out, but very rarely is any place left with no one to show.
And we're confident that everyone here and everyone who knows is on our side.
I've been doing some looking into it just to be sure. And he's trying to be diplomatic. Void's, all of you would probably know, but Void Shadow, you would definitely know that he's probably been spying on people, both outside and probably inside their head as well, to try to make sure that there's no moles on the team.
Does there look to be any place that's more heavily guarded than others?
The front of the compound, the main entrance, the one that would lead into the kind of just the directly facility proper, that probably would have the least like locked doors. Definitely has a higher volume of security in that area, more people to make sure that people just don't just walk right in. There are other ways in with less live security, but probably more other defenses, you would guess.
I mean, Lutze is not the planner. He's the weapon for when things get ugly. So he'll just nod and wait for the others to ask questions.
Are there any weak spots? Any places unwatched or less watched? What's the timing of the guard shift? What's our point of entrance? I've been studying.
The guards shift every 3 hours on the dot. 2 of them come out to replace the front. The others go somewhere inside, presumably switching, taking breaks. Who knows? The guards don't leave until the new ones arrive, though unfortunately there won't be any down spots on their watch. There is a couple of side and back entrances with limited or even no live security, but if I had to guess, it's going to be something else, at least, to keep people from just walking right in. It'll depend on how you guys want to walk in, whether you want to bypass digital security, potentially traps, magic. Want to storm the front, take them out.
When the guards have been changing, is it the same guards? Are they recognizable faces? Or is it a new set of guards every time? Can we get an estimate of how many guards there are in the compound?
There seems to be a rotation of sorts, where certain people will kind of switch from spot to spot and then break. As far as outside, it seems around the entire building, perhaps 16 to 18. The building is wide enough that that's pretty sparing on certain parts of it. I can't say for certain if there is heavier guards inside that don't do any patrols.
Better to assume there are.
Yes. I'm sure it comes as a given, but my first recommendation would be to find out some way to bypass security. There's going to be cameras, there's going to be pictures, there's going to be ways to see. We don't want them to see, at least until it's too late. The rest will be left up to you once you're inside to figure out where everything is, make sure that things are dealt with.
If they're not connected to the outside, where are they getting their power? Do they have a...
So you would know that there's not an internet connection, is mostly what they mean. So it's probably on the power grid, but there's not any online. So no, like, information can be sent out or in.
Are we expecting to walk out of there?
Kind of gives a awkward smile. Depends on what's in there. Hopefully.
Do you want us to take it or destroy it?
Kind of thinks for a moment. I mean, if we could get a hold of it to at least see how they're putting these sorts of things together,
No.
it would help, but
No.
the most
No.
important thing is that it's
No.
gone.
We will destroy it. It will not be taken out of there, even with good intentions. No.
It would be dangerous, to say the least. The moment that you have it, the moment somebody can get it from your head, if you're not careful. Information has a way of getting places these days. Anything else?
Lutze will look at the other two like, I know what I need to know. But I'm not the one who has to do the work before we get there. I'm the one who has to do the work when we get there.
Did you say there was a fence around the complex?
Yeah, so it's basically like on the outside of the city, kind of away from the city proper, but still kind of on the outskirts. There's kind of like a large square kind of compound building. And around that, there's kind of a fenced area to kind of give them a perimeter that they can watch for.
Is it an electric fence or chain link? Cement?
It would be metal, actually. Probably iron, maybe steel. With some like chain link gate areas that kind of open to allow traffic in and out.
If we can find a quiet enough area, I can get us through the fence.
I will ensure that it is quiet.
And this tattooed man would just kind of scan to each of you and just kind of shrug and give a grin. Well, call if you need anything. We cut from this building. We move forward. It's been another couple hours. So you guys have made your way from city center where this building had been that you had met with these people in, and towards the outskirts of the city where you've managed to travel. We know that you are getting within relative distance of the compound, not close enough that you would be able to be spotted on any cameras. You still have a little bit of ways to go to make it there. But you would know that if you're going to formulate a direct plan and move forward, now is going to be the time. You can see as you kind of are watching from a medium distance, perhaps even zooming in a little bit with the camera section of your chip. There's a probably about 15-foot metal wall that surrounds this building. There are chain link gates that are locked and guarded. The primary one at the front has 2 guards that are stationed immediately on either side of the gate. They have assault rifles, military gear, bulletproof vests, helmets. They're heavily armed. You would imagine the other sides are similarly gated and similarly guarded.
We should create some sort of disturbance or distraction. Can you set off an alarm somewhere on the other side?
I think that's a good plan. Do we know how thick these walls are? From the look of the fence?
So the actual walls themselves, probably only 1.5 or 2 feet. They're clearly not meant to be like heavy duty like blast walls. It's mostly just kind of a protective measure.
So if I can cause a distraction down the far side, Iris, do you think you could make a hole in that wall so we can get through?
Of course.
So at that point, I think Void Shadow would try to connect with some of the cameras like as far away from us as possible, kind of like the opposite side. Let's say if we're on the right-hand side, I'm assuming we're not going by the front door, we're going somewhere to the right. Then at the left front corner, where the cameras are there, that's where she'll have interfere with them and have them spot something.
Yeah, so you're able to like project the keyboard like underneath your hands, like connecting with this strange force. As you begin to type and search, go ahead and give me a computers roll. And because you are a writer, you will also be able to add your mystic dice to that, which I believe you should have 2, I think, for you. Some of the others have 3 because of their careers. And basically how that's going to work, since I forgot to explain it in the pre-thing. So similar to the Force dice for Star Wars, any white pips that show up are going to count as successes towards the roll. Black dots that show up, you can spend strain to turn into successes as well, with potentially some complications for doing so.
Okay, and am I rolling against any like difficulty?
This is going to be difficulty 2 to start with. 2 purple.
Okay, so I have a total of 2. Sorry, hard to read it as well. 1 black pip, 2 white pips on the mystic dice, and then a total of a disadvantage.
All right, so you'll be able to turn those white dots into successes automatically. If you want to have even greater effect, you can also spend strain, not sprain, to turn the black dots into successes as well. It just depends on how far you want to go with it. How many successes does that put you at using the
white
as well?
So with just using the whites, I'd be at 2 successes with 1 disadvantage, and then I have that black, which I don't think I'd want to use at this point.
Fair enough. So what specifically are you trying to do here? So you're going to be able to get into the camera system, the perimeter wall security, but it'll be up to you as far as exactly what you're planning to do. You're trying to like trigger an alarm? Are you trying to like put a fake image on the camera? What's going through your mind here?
Trying to put a fake image on the camera so that the alarm would get set naturally by somebody noticing this fake image on the other side. I would make the image a little bit fuzzy so it's not clear right away what it is, so they don't know if it's like an animal or if it's a person, so that somebody would have to go and check it out.
Yeah, immediately as you do this, you would see any of the guards that you could see from where you're standing, either at the front or the side entrance, kind of where you're heading towards, kind of glance at each other immediately. You know that the triggering of the security has probably already gone into their heads. One of them kind of just rolls his eyes, mutters something. It's too quiet to hear from this distance. And one of the guards is going to kind of start to head over in that direction, while the cameras are kind of fuzzy, displaying strange anomalies to see if it's a threat or if it's just some strange effect.
So once they start moving, Lutze would like look at Iris and give her the nod. He would begin to move sort of in the direction of the guards to interpose himself between the guards and what Iris is doing, and he'll like just loosen. He's got this like monofilament sword. He'll just loosen that in its scabbard a little bit and hold on to it in case. I would also, at this stage, try and use my mysticism to like improve my reflexes, to like get myself into like a superhuman speed state, so that if something does kick off, that I can be the first to move and act.
Yeah, if you want to commit some number of your mystic dice, you'll be able to use that for initiatives and coordinations and things like that. That'll happen.
Yep, I'll commit one to definitely initiative and speed-based things.
Perfect. Yeah, you tap into to your meditation, this strange Zen monk style thing that somehow seems to grant you extraordinary powers. Time seems to feel strange and slower as you get yourself into this state.
Seeing Lutze move forward, Iris heads for the wall. And she'll approach it and very lightly draw about a 5-foot arch on it with her finger. And then in the middle of that, she begins drawing 2 triangles interlocking. And then she pulls out a small vial and drips it on that symbol. And I'd like to turn that to basically water and just let it drop.
All right, we'll go ahead and do a mystic dice roll here, just to make sure that you can tap into that subconscious effect.
Okay.
So since this is just like a straight effect, you can just roll your flat mystic dice.
Okay. Do I have any difficulties or just the... Okay, I got 2 white, 2 black.
Alrighty, so since this is kind of like level of effect isn't necessarily an option here, you'll just need the 2 successes, the 2 white, to do this, so you won't need to spend any strain. So you draw all these strange symbols that seem to speak to the composition of matter itself, and there's just a whoosh as part of the wall quite literally washes away, transmuted from steel to water. A hole left where it was, where you guys will be able to enter.
Iris will then reach into her bag and pull out a small handheld device. She'll scan the section of the wall next to her and then set this device in this puddle of water and push a button and a little hologram pops up of identical wall. I don't know if I need to roll anything for that.
Hell yeah, no, that's awesome. Yeah,
So
you
once it's
set up
established,
Go.
The second it's established, we'd say we'll move like at this ridiculous speed, and there'll be like a like he will just see himself like shift his foot in the sand if it's slightly slowly, and then he will move and he'll just be through the other side, maybe before Iris has even sorted out the hologram.
Iris will wait right outside the hologram until Void Shadow comes through, because she can sense where the wall ends and the hologram begins, but she knows the others can't.
Yes, Void Shadow would follow Lucy as not quite as quickly, but she would go through as quietly as possible.
Yeah, so the 2 of you slip through the hologram, this space in the wall, with Iris following shortly behind. And on the inside perimeter of the wall, you would see to the left, you can see where the building kind of goes around towards the front entrance. to the right, you can see kind of the side entrance, which presumably you were heading towards or for. There's a single guard stationed at this side door. He seems to be looking in the other direction for now. But on the inside of the wall, it's only a matter of time before somebody sees you, so you'll need to figure out something quick.
Could say, well, like, look, and give this like raised eyebrow. Like, am I killing the guards?
Presumably, we timed this so that we have exactly 3 hours. So Iris would just kind of shrug and whisper or she'd do the kind of a mental link and say, 3 hours, plenty of time.
Lutze is like a person who is very focused, and he doesn't understand how that statement connects to his question. And so he will just take it as an affirmative, and he's going to begin moving towards that guard. I'd like to use my mystic powers to cross that space just stupid fast. So fast that if someone was looking, they might just see like some dust or something like that.
Go for it.
Maybe athletics and...
Yeah, athletics, add your mystic dice.
Okay. Is there a difficulty or no?
This is going to be difficulty 2. He's a guard and he's trained, but he's also not necessarily expecting that.
Yeah.
Just standard.
Okay. So there's a failure. I have 2 successes or 2 white pips. Can I use those to make successes?
Yes.
Okay, so there'll be 2 successes, 2 advantage.
Perfect. So what does this look like as you're basically able to go from the wall to this guard in a blink?
So let's say, like, gives the look with a question mark, and like not getting any sort of affirmative or negative. He assumes that he's going through with the plan. He'll just turn his head first and then his body. And to him, it seems like slow motion, but in reality, it's unbelievably quick. And he'll just like run with like the sword in its scabbard across the courtyard and stop like an inch from the guy.
Yeah, I imagine he turns like hearing the sound, and by the time that he like hears it, you're already like right there, and he's like just about to turn around. But he is not expecting somebody to be that fast.
I'm gonna chop him up.
Let him have it.
Okay, so I wrote this down somewhere. I have a blue. Yep.
I have a feeling this guy is gonna be in a lot of pain.
Is it just 2 difficulty?
Yes. Wait, sorry. What is defense? Does that add a setback?
A setback. Yep.
Yeah, he does have 1 melee defense.
Okay. No problem. Okay. All right, here we go. So it's 2 successes, an advantage, and a triumph.
Ooh, and what would how much damage would that be just off the bat? Because you might kill him. This guy's not a
9.
Superman. 9. Yeah, that's gonna kill him.
Okay. So he like turns to look, but the sword, like this monofilament sword, this monomolecular edge just comes out. There's probably not even a sound of cutting before he like flicks the blood onto the ground and puts it back in the scabbard, and the guard thumps dead onto the ground.
Yeah, he doesn't even have the chance to turn and face you. For the triumph, unless you have something specific in mind, and the advantages, I'm basically just going to say that there's no possible way that anything could have been sent out. Like, definitively, he did not take a picture of you. You were not in his camera. He did not tell anybody. It's just like he was there, and now there's just nothing.
Yep, that works for me. It's just
Yeah,
the one guard here?
At this specific door, yes, because it's like a side door. There's not a larger presence that would be at the front door.
Okay, I'll just drag his body into like the doorway or something, somewhere there where it's slightly out of sight. Like if somebody was looking from the top of the wall, they wouldn't necessarily see it immediately.
Yeah, you would be able to do that. And what are the other two of you doing? As you literally you enter into the wall and you blink, and he's already gone off there. Like a guard is just in pieces, from a single slash. What are the rest of you up to?
So trusting in his abilities, as soon as Void Shadow got through the wall, she would start heading towards that side door. She's not nearly as fast, obviously, but she'd try to go as quickly as she can without making noise. We don't want anybody, the other guard, seeing us. But she'd head towards Lucy.
Iris will briefly debate the merits of turning this man into dust, but seeing that he's out of the view of visible cameras, she'll save her resources for something else and follow Void Shadow.
Yeah, so the rest of you catch up to where Lutze has just disembodied this guard in a quarter second at the most. You would see, kind of set into the wall, a large metal door. Seems to be locked with some sort of security system, though you're not exactly sure to what capacity yet that it is. If you're going to go in this way, you're going to have to figure out a way in.
What's the building made out of? Is it like a concrete building, or is it brick or metal?
The actual walls themselves, it would probably be more of like a reinforced resin of some sort. Like it's almost like a heavy strength like plastic, but there's probably metal inside of it. Like it's probably not just that. You would know that it's probably pretty well supported inside, with likely metal of some sort, steel beaming, things like that, or whatever the futuristic version of steel is.
Any noticeable windows?
There's actually none at all. This place is like completely blacked out. There's no windows. Even the doors don't seem to have any see-through paneling on them.
And last question: any cameras in this side entrances? Does it look like there would be any camera footage, things staring out at it?
There's nothing necessarily visible, but that does not necessarily mean that there's nothing there.
You'd say looks between the two of you, like this is your part of the job. He's killed the man, now opened the door, and you can see he's getting impatient as he raises an eyebrow.
So Iris will walk up and place a hand kind of on this area where it's got a lock, and she'll feel what it is. She'll nod to herself, and she'll pull out a little pouch and put 2 powders in her hand, and then blow them into the lock, and then draw a spiral on it. And I would like to turn the lock into mist. And it'll just...
Yeah, go ahead, make a roll.
And it's the white ones, right?
Yes.
That's 1 white, 3 black. I don't know what those mean, by the way.
Alrighty, yeah. The lock is small, so you don't need a high degree of success to transmute it like you would if you were trying to change the entire door or something like that. So one success will be able to do that. So there's I would imagine almost silent, just slight puff as the bar lock on the door vaporizes.
And she'll hesitantly push it open just millimeters to see that it begins to slide or swing.
Once it opens, Lutze will enter and like scan the room for enemies, targets, or problems.
Yeah, you would see that this door opens up into what looks to be like maintenance hallway of sorts. Like it kind of leads off to a side like supply area. There's a couple different rooms with closed doors. The doors in this hallway do have paneling through. You can see boxes stacked in rooms, cabinets filled with who knows what in some of the different rooms. And there's a man walking in the opposite direction. He's not dressed in any sort of military garb. Seems to be an employee of some sorts. He's going to like hear the door open and more see the sunlight like go through the crack, and kind of slightly incline his head.
And I can see him.
Yes.
Dang. He doesn't look to be a combatant. He's just like a dude.
Yeah, like he works here.
I feel like Lutze has a problem killing civilians. Like he fights warriors, that's fine. But doesn't necessarily kill this guy. I'm gonna try and run up to him. He'll see me though, and he's got that thing in his brain. Just gonna have to kill him.
How far away is the guy? Is he within short range?
Short range is like medium talking distance, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I'd say probably like 15, 20 feet. He would be within short range, yeah.
I could try to stun him. I will whip out my taser and try and stun him.
Alrighty. Yeah, go for it. That'll be whatever normal. Is that a ranged light, I'm guessing?
Yeah,
that it would be?
Yeah, ranged light.
And this will be at difficulty 1. This is just a dude, like he's not at all ready to be tased.
It's everywhere. So 2 successes, and that's it.
Alrighty, and how much stun damage does that do?
6. So is that 6 plus the successes?
I believe so, yeah, so it'll be 8. Yeah, so you'd say you like grab at your hilt ready to do, even though you don't want to murder him. You think is like the only way, and then you just like this crackle goes off as this taser bolt from Void Shadow next to you hits into him. His body convulses, goes into a shock for a second as the electricity is just pumped through his body, and he passes out from the current.
And do I think that the electricity from the shock would like overload or like mess with his whatever you call it, the thing that will send the information?
You would so it's kind of only half of its own system. So him being unconscious, would actually disable it. Like it doesn't have like a battery or anything. So without the body's ability to control it, it won't do anything.
Okay. All right. Well, that being the case, I'll see that he's like stunned, and I'll rush over there. Make sure his eyes are closed. If not, I will close them. And then tie him up, I guess.
Yeah, you're able to do so. He can't resist.
I'll search for if he has any key cards, anything like that, or like anything that he could swipe into a door, or any keys, anything like that. And
So
also,
depending.
I'll just look at like the other locks that we've seen. Does it look like they use like retinal scanning or like hand scanning, anything like that? Because if that's the case, I will take those from him as well.
I was just going to say it's a little grisly, but you would know that most people these days for buildings like this, there would basically be like coded proximity sensors embedded in them, so that as they approach the door, it creates a connection with that bit that's in them, which would unlock the door. So it's basically pretty close to genetically exact to only the person who has the implant can use it. But if you were to perform a little surgery or perhaps less clean than that, you might be able to obtain such a thing.
So what parts of him would I need specifically? Like his eyes? Or like his head?
Yeah,
Because
it
man,
would
I'll drag his
probably
body
be
around.
his. Yeah, it would probably be his head. Would be where most of that would be. That would be the most likely spot.
So let's say we'll look at the others and say it's possible that we'll need his credentials. That you would know of, let's say, that he doesn't like to fight non-combatants and he doesn't like to murder anyone, like unless they're a combatant, and certainly not this sort of grisly after the fact when they can't defend themselves. So he would like say that, leave it hanging, and then like step away from the body and begin to look around.
Would we know if like these proximity detectors? Would we be able to know if do they have to be inside a body to be used, or could they be used if you were holding?
Yeah, you could remove it from his body, but it's likely, you would guess, under his skull. So it would be difficult to get it without at least either literally performing surgery or doing something nastier.
We have been able to get through doors so far with like the transmutation and the hacking. So I don't know if it's a huge concern. It's just something to think about. If he has like key cards or anything, I'll definitely take that, or we should take that. But I don't know if we need to be performing brain surgery when we're on a time limit.
Yeah, Iris would have similar thoughts. That I can get us through most doors and most security. I suspect that Void Shadow can get us through the rest.
Exactly, I feel the same way. There's a reason Void Shadows carries a taser and not an actual gun.
Yeah, so you guys are basically in this hallway. There's a couple of doors that seem to lead into storage rooms. Some of them have cabinets, some of them have boxes, and the hallway also kind of curves around into an L curve. It seems to go back towards like the building proper. It'll be up to you if you guys want to look around here or proceed further.
Iris just kind of shrugs. This doesn't look useful.
Now this looks more like storage and unused space, really. I think the work proper is going to be done much closer to the middle, I would think.
Was the guy sitting at a computer desk, or was he just standing around?
So he was walking. You would presume he had just left one of these rooms and was walking back towards the proper building.
Okay. There's no like terminal or anything around here?
If you were to look through into the rooms, you would see that one of them does have a desktop computer set up.
We'd say would just like, and when eventually people came to look, he would just nod in the direction of the terminal and look at the rider like, this is you.
Yeah, absolutely. She would see that and she would head immediately for it. Going to check out its like the security on this building. She doesn't want. She's not just going to go into the system blind. She's going to go in such that she's not. She wants to first of all find out if there's any securities on the system, and then proceed to gather information once she's determined whether she can or not.
Yeah, the door isn't locked into this room, so you'd be able to enter. You sit down at the computer, get to work. You can go ahead and make a computers.
Difficulty.
So you said you're trying to get into the security, right?
She's first of all, she's looking at the computer and verifying what kind of security that they would have on it. Like she's just not going to sit down and just start using this terminal and unbeknownst like set off alarms. She's going to verify first what kind of connections there are to the other computers, so that she's not going to set off alarms inadvertently. If that makes sense.
Alright, yeah, that's pretty tough to see without actually using the computer itself. I'm going to say that's going to be difficulty 3.
Is it at this point you can use mystic dice? Like,
Yeah, you would be able to for this, because it's computers.
Okay. Okay, so I've got 2 successes, 2 disadvantage, 2 white pips, and a black pip. So I can have 4 successes with it. Yeah, 4 successes with 2 disadvantage.
Alrighty, so yeah, you're able to. It's easy for you. Working with computers, like it's like moving your own arms. It's almost like it's a part of you. You're able to quickly figure out that to access the computer, it's a pretty simple password system. You're able to crack it in a matter of seconds. The passcode almost seems to just appear into your mind as you work with this kind of subconscious level with the system. You're able to get into the system. And you realize a couple things. There is a keylogger on this computer, so everything that's typed into it is registered and saved. It's not connected to the internet, but it does have local area connections to other servers.
So I know I've just been, somebody somewhere could have seen me just log in at this point right now. I'm basically looking for, now that I'm in, looking for kind of the layout of the building and if there's any obvious files, saying, hey, this is the project, but really try to get a lay of what the building is like, where certain places could be.
Yeah, so you're able to pull up a floor plan. it's not too difficult to find a basic one. You would see that the floor that you're on, the ground floor, is basically like mostly office buildings. There's one floor above this one as well. That's labeled as research, and there is downward floors as well, but this floor plan does not say what those are. There's 2 basement levels.
I would let Lucy know that research is on level 2, but I'd let him know that there's 2 basement levels that I can't find any information on at this point. I'd also ask if there's any particular information that he'd like to know before going. Same with Iris, if there's anything particular she wants to know.
So Lisa would be interested in like the layout in terms of security checks and where those checks are, and like if there is a guard or like a security room on each floor, that kind of stuff. He'd be interested only really in the security business. As far as he's concerned, like his job is to make sure nobody gets killed and that all the guards get killed. And like the finding of the thing and the dealing with the thing, that's you guys. So he would just want information about the security.
And Iris would want information about exits. She's forward thinking about an escape plan, assuming that they're able to get it done in the guard shift time, they'll still need to get out quickly. So if there are windows or exits on different floors and where choke points would be and such.
Yeah, so you would know both from looking at it from the outside pictures, and again from now, that there are no windows in this building. That there's probably not a way to get out from the top floor, which, while potentially dangerous, doesn't seem to be a care to the people here. There's the entrance that you came in, this right entrance, if you're looking at it from the front entrance. There's a front entrance, a larger entrance, and then also a back and left exit as well. At least as far as the ground floor goes. Again, you're not sure what might be below, if there is like subterranean exits or not. But that would be the most obvious 4 exit points. As far as security checks, most of the doors are probably locked by the proximity scanners, at least any ones that have any sort of security level to them. You don't see any security rooms marked, but you presume that perhaps that might be something that's on one of the lower levels.
Does it look like there's any vents or vents or fan ways up to the roof, so that we could use like a vent escape if need to be, if we're on the second floor and need out?
Yeah, you would see that one of the larger rooms on the second level would have a roof entrance that would lead up to the top of the building.
The guy that we dispatched just recently, did he have any name tags or anything on him saying who he was?
He doesn't, which you guys would know would be normal. With the way that everything's interconnected, if you need to pull up someone's name, you can basically just pull it from them most of the times, especially if you're connected and know them. So like the actual need for physical name tags wouldn't really be a thing anymore.
Right.
And while you're here, real quick, Void Shadow, I'm going to need you to make a computers roll for me. And I am going to oppose that, actually.
Without the Mystic Dice this time?
You can use them.
I got 5 advantage and 2 white and a black. So I'll definitely use the 2 whites as successes. I think yeah. And
How many
5
does that put you at total?
2 successes and 5 advantage. I don't know if that matters.
So, as you're typing, working through the system, suddenly you feel the system stop responding. You go to push further, even tap into a mystical ability. The code even seeming to go through, but it's as if the code has stopped wanting to talk with you. The system is locked out. As you feel a foreign presence overwrite your access and code over you.
They have a strong writer here too. There's somebody who's fighting me on this.
Then get off the computer.
Have we
Yeah.
been discovered?
We don't want them to know we're here. Let's just go look. Upstairs is research, right?
Yeah, floor 2. So should quickly get off.
Yeah, you disconnect from the computer, lock it. You guys are.
Where do we believe the thing to be?
Said research, 2nd floor. This is research, isn't it?
If I was a insane company / theocracy, I probably wouldn't keep it there.
Do you keep it in the basement?
I would keep it where I thought people wouldn't look.
Yeah, I'm thinking that too. I couldn't get any information on the basement. So it's kind of my gut feeling is they're hiding something there.
It's always in the basement. And Lead say like has this series of flashbacks of like 30 other missions where he's like run down the stairs and like kicked in the door and like and like grabbed the thing, and it's always been hidden away somewhere under the ground.
You have more experience than I do. Let's go downstairs then.
Maybe that is true, but it is not my call nor my job to determine where the thing is. I'm here to keep you alive and to keep the enemy dead.
Iris rolls her eyes so hard you can almost feel it. Void Shadow, do you think we go downstairs?
That's what I'm thinking. My gut's telling me that. Even though that room says research, that would be too easy.
All right, downstairs it is.
So you guys would know that the stairs are in the main lobby, which is basically around this hallway. Though you would also guess that there's probably at least a decent chance that somebody would be in that area as well.
So I'd like to try and use a mystic ability to like get close to like that door that leads into that area, and then like sit cross-legged, put my palms face up, and like concentrate and see if I can hear the heartbeats and the blood moving of like people in the vicinity, and like sense who is beyond, if anyone, or how many.
Yeah, absolutely.
So just the
If you have discipline, you can use discipline for this as well, and then use mystic to add bonuses to that.
I do have discipline. Difficulty?
Um,
You have not made it easy for yourself, being like, come up with this weird, this
I
like
know.
weird metaphysical thing and decide how difficult it is.
Yeah, right. It's weird.
I would say 3 is reasonable, if not more.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna say 3.
Okay. Oh goodness. Okay. That's hard to parse. So it's 2 threat, 1 triumph, and 1 success. So success with cost, but also a great advantage.
Huh.
So I can
Okay.
sense the people beyond. The threat, I'm not sure about. The triumph, potentially, I get like exact numbers and maybe positions on top of like knowing that they're there. That would be sort of triumphant. As for the threat, maybe there's somebody on the other side who can sense me, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So you like reach out with this kind of meditation presence. You feel out, and it's almost like this like echolocation bounce through the room. You see the room beyond as if you were looking at it. You see the desk at the front where the receptionist sits. You see the security guard standing next to her in body armor with a pistol and a rifle, talking to the receptionist, who does not seem particularly interested in what he's saying. And then you feel a third person in the back of the room. And as this kind of sensory wave bounces off of them, you see their head shift, an eyebrow raise, and they turn and begin to walk.
There are people beyond. Is the door locked still, or is it openable?
So this one is not locked at all. It's basically just a side hallway. There's no need of any major security for it.
So I'll just say that, and then I'll open the door and I will sprint for that person who sends me.
Alrighty. I'm gonna say in this situation, it's probably gonna make sense to roll initiative. The security guard and the receptionist would not be able to necessarily react right away, but there is a reason that this other person might, and because you kind of felt each other out.
Makes sense.
I'm gonna say this is gonna be cool initiative rolls from you guys. We'll do so as well for them.
So we still have that 1 committed, right? Haven't you?
Yeah,
The super speed.
as long as you still kept it, that'll be up.
Oh.
That'll add a success as well.
No, I rolled all 3 last time, so I obviously didn't.
Mm.
Okay, that's fine.
Jeez. And is that 1 success and 1 advantage? Is that what that is that what that means? Sorry.
That's just how I do it when
Yeah.
I'm doing an initiative list.
Alrighty, and Taylor, I will need a cool roll from you as well.
The little explosion's a success or a triumph? Or advantage?
Success.
That is a
Success.
success. Is that the very top one? Just the 2 green dice, one
Mhm.
first and one nothing?
Yep.
No, that was me.
Nope. I just got the 1 success. That's mine.
Are you rolling in this thing?
Uh-huh. It's a joint one.
I don't see it. Never mind.
Alrighty, give me 1 second here while I get this sorted. Okay, so I don't actually know. Triumph and initiative? Does that have any specific thing?
Not necessarily. Like what I usually do is if somebody gets a triumph, it trumps like, so if somebody gets like 1 success and a triumph, it'll be better than 1 success and any number of advantages. Is generally what I do. But I don't know. You could definitely argue to like use it for stuff.
Sorry, I'm not used to doing initiative with the system. It's a lot.
Yeah, it's tricky.
Okay. I think I've got it. Alrighty, so the door bursts open. Lutze, kind of leading the charge. So it was technically Void Shadow that rolled the highest initiative, but I believe in this system it's just like PC and NPC slots. So if Void Shadow would like to go first, that'll be up to her and you guys. Otherwise, you can use your initiative however you will.
No, I'm fine with Lutzi going first. He's the one who did the sensing, so makes sense that he goes.
Okay. Yeah, so I'll like rush across that room after, like I know who the other 2 are. I know it's the security guard and the receptionist. So I don't want to get them. It's this other person who obviously has some sort of mysticism to them as well that I want to try and get. So if possible, I'll do that speed boost. I'll spend my mystic dice to like charge across the room in the heartbeat.
Yeah, you'd be able to do so.
Okay. So I'll roll that first. I think I did it with athletics last time.
Mhm.
And is there a difficulty?
I think it's just standard, just to make sure that you do it, because you're not actually competing against anybody with this part of the roll.
Cool. Okay, success, bunch of threat, and only bad mysticism. I'll spend strain to make one of those a... I don't need to. Or do I? I have to use one of them, right, to activate the power.
Yes, you would need to use one because it's just to get to him. You're not actually trying to do anything to this person. You don't really need to compete, so you would just need to use gain 1 strain to turn it into a 1 use, so you could actually just activate the ability.
Okay. Yep. So I'll do that. That will be my maneuver, and then I'll rush over to him and I'll try and slice him in half with my sword.
Yeah, as you charge into the room, you would see, you could kind of see what the others were. You would see that this guy is a man. He's got like slicked back hair, kind of like these trendy glasses, and like a suit on. But you can kind of tell right away, based on the prior interaction, there's probably much more to him than just that.
Yeah, so I imagine the security guard still like chatting up the receptionist, and he's like, and then they're just like, and like there's like dust and like all this stuff that's been kicked up in the room, and he like probably doesn't even see it until Lute says on the other side of the room.
Yeah, let him have it.
Just standard difficulty. Does he have any defense?
He does not have any defense.
Oh baby.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, so that's going to be 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 damage. Sorry, no, only 11, because I think it's every success after the first one that adds the damage.
Yeah, like the first is a hit.
Yeah,
Ooh,
so
and it's
11
like
damage. And a triumph, which I'll use to do a crit.
Yes.
And 2 successes, which I will use to add 10% to those crits. My sword is also vicious, so it'll be plus 30% to that crit.
Oh god, yeah. Go ahead, give me the 100 roll. Plus 30.
1. What are the chances of that?
Oh god. So 31.
Yeah, it's gonna be crap.
Ooh. Can you remind me what staggered is? Is that like stunned in 5e?
I don't know offhand.
That one?
I'll get Googling.
Yeah, sadly I need to know pretty quickly because he might take his
turn.
turn if he's not. He is extraordinarily wounded.
I cannot find it.
I'm having a hard time finding it too.
Let me get my book.
First these rule sets and their fancy words. Oh, and I don't think the oh, it does have an index.
Okay, so staggered means they can't perform actions, including downgrading the actions to maneuvers. Lasts for a set duration. If it's not specified, then it lasts till the end of that character's next turn. If they are staggered multiple times, each instance will increase the total duration.
All right, so how do you hit this guy that like nearly kills him? Like normally, like again, you can kind of feel something strange about this person because normally, like when moving that fast, you could just like plunge it straight through their heart or through their head or whatever, or cut their head off and they'd just be gone. But he manages to just barely move, not matching your speed, but sort of predicting it to barely not die.
Yeah, so I think let's say expect this to just be the death of this person. He like draws the sword as he's running, and when he gets there, he like just brings it up in this cut that would have like removed his head. But the guy like steps to the side and instead just like rips up through his body, like across his torso and into his chest instead of across his neck. It's like the spray of blood that like soaks the spotless clean wall.
Yeah, there's like a spray of blood. He goes to yell, but he can barely even manage that. It's just like a gurgle as this like huge gash across his entire body. His chest is just knocked through him. Blood just like staining the immaculate suit, just completely ruining it. He like clutches at his own chest, not knowing how to fathom what's just happened to him in this like blink of an eye, and he'll be staggered until the end of his next turn. So he can still take maneuvers, I believe, just not actions.
Yeah, he can't perform actions, including downgrading actions to maneuvers, but he would be able to do that, I guess, the maneuver that you'd get.
Right. And final question. There's not opportunity attacks in this system, are there? At least normally?
I don't think so.
Yeah, so this like huge gash like just comes up, ripping him. He's like clutching at his chest as blood just pours from his body. He like doesn't know what to do. Like all he can think to do is just try to get away. He can't bring himself to like act against you in opposition. And he's gonna like begin running towards the stairs. He's gonna like make it towards the edge of the stairs with his turn before he will stop at the edge of that range. So he's still there, but on the way out, but just ruined, nearly dead. the security guard is gonna like turn around and be like, what the fuck? Like just like you weren't there, and then suddenly there's a person there, and there's blood all over the walls. He's going to like bring up his pistol, his rifle not ready. It was kind of laid up against the desk. He's gonna try to shoot you.
I have one defense.
Range.
Yeah, one of each.
Alrighty, so that will be that's a setback, right? I take it.
Yeah.
I always forget. He's gonna use his maneuver to aim. Ooh, and he's gonna get 3 advantages. Interesting. Hmm.
So maybe he knocks me down or something, but like doesn't actually hit with the shot. Something like that.
Yeah, that works. Yeah, so like there's the crack of his pistol as it fires. Your reaction speed is supernatural. You're able to like move and almost like predict and dodge the bullet, but it requires you to like fall down onto your knees in order to do so. So you'll need to like stand back up to before you can like fully move. But the shot does not hit you. It like hits into the back wall. His eyes go like wide as he sees like literally like somebody pulling like agents from the Matrix type shit on him and dodging his shot. He's just like completely bewildered. And that'll move back to PC slots. So whichever of Iris or Void Shadow you can go.
So, is there any chance of catching the guy who's like at the stairs?
Yeah, you would be able to. You could either, if you're trying to get to him, use your maneuver to move towards him. The lobby is medium sized, but it's still just one range band, so you'd be able to get to him, kind of see him running for the stairs and go to catch him. Otherwise, if you're trying to get him at range, you could definitely get him too.
I don't have any idea how my magic works. Can I use it at range? Can I like throw something at him?
Sure.
Yeah. So Iris moves into the room and she skirts towards the edge, well around Lutze and this security guard, and she sees the man fleeing, and almost instinctually she pulls out a small vial, and the walls of it are hair thin. You're not sure how it hasn't broken inside this pouch. And she tosses it, intending it to land squarely on this man's back.
Alrighty. So if you have ranged light, you can use that. Because it's a mystical power, you can also use discipline if you have that. It'll be your choice of those two, whichever is better, and you can add your mystic dice.
Okay. What's my difficulty?
He has no defense, so it's just a standard difficulty, which I believe is 2.
2 purples, right?
Ranged. 2 purples, yes.
I got 3 whites and 2 blacks, and everything else canceled out.
Alrighty, so that's going to be 3 successes, which means you'll hit and do 2 extra damage. Now for mystical abilities, it'll either be for alchemists, you can either use willpower or cunning as your base damage, whichever is a higher stat. Just whatever the stat is, that'll be like the damage that it does.
So I'm trying to turn him into ice. Like this little vial is in theory breaking as it hits him. I don't know.
Like turning his entire body into ice, like to just kill him.
Yeah,
or are you just trying to stop him?
That it'll freeze him. I could probably change it back later if he doesn't melt, but for now, just to literally freeze him in place.
Alrighty, so it'll be up to you. So You know that he's very badly injured, but you don't necessarily know exactly how much damage is going to end him. Right now, it'll be what you're going to deal whatever your willpower or cunning, whichever is higher,
Okay.
amount of damage +2. But if you want to use those black dots to suffer some strain to deal some extra, that'll be up to you as well. You don't know how much more.
So
health
I'd
you have.
do 4 damage.
Yeah, that'll be enough. This vial impacts him. And what does it look like?
Um, it's bright, silvery, and it spreads in those little kind of hoarfrost patterns across his shoulder blades and then up his neck, and then he's this semi-transparent statue of ice that's giving off slight bits of fog.
Yeah, the security guard and the receptionist kind of just see this man cut like torso to hip, just turn into a solid block of ice. They can hardly understand what's happening before their eyes, as this man seems to be dealt with for the time being. He is now a nice ice sculpture atop the stairs. Anything else from Iris?
Nope, I think that's good for me.
Alrighty, Void Shadow. There's a security guard who is shot at Lutze. There's a receptionist sitting at the desk.
So Void Shadow is going to. It looks like she's starting to like write on this sorry, kind of like she's writing code in the air. And what she's trying to do, she's trying to target the guard's chip that we know everybody's got, that smart chip, and she basically is going to overload it so that it gives him this vibration in his head and thus doing damage. Basically, that's what she would like to do. She's going to write the code and overcharge his smart link patch in his head.
Alrighty, yeah, go ahead and give me I guess it would be computers and Mystic.
And the difficulty?
Is going to be the chips are made specifically not to be hackable normally. Like a normal person wouldn't be able to do it, but because you're a writer, it's possible, but still challenging. I'm gonna say this is gonna be difficulty 3 instead of 2.
Ooh, that's a lot of X's. Oh, wait a second. Those are a lot of. Sorry, a lot of symbols. Okay, so advantage and disadvantage just cancel right out. And I'm left with 3 successes and a triumph. 2 of those successes being the white pips.
All right, and what's your cunning stat?
My cunning is 2. Intellect is 3. It depends.
Oh yeah, intellect is what I meant. Sorry.
Intellect is 3.
All right, so it's going to be 3 plus however many extra successes you got worth of damage. How much is that?
Does the triumph count as a success?
Yes.
Okay, then that's 3 extra successes. So 6 points of damage.
Alrighty, and then you can also use that triumph to turn that into a crit if you'd like. I don't know if there's any other things you can do with it, but that would be the most obvious one.
Yeah, let's do that.
Alrighty, go ahead and give me a D100.
Oh, not prepared. Just a second. That would be a 49.
Ooh, that actually makes sense. Head ringer. So yeah, you you start to type in code, and like his eyes kind of blink for a second as you implant like basically a virus into the chip in his head that just sends his brain scrambling, like shocking his nervous system, and just completely sending him wrong. Like he's clearly disoriented by it. He's going to have anything related to cunning and intellect. The difficulty is going to be increased as he takes a healthy bit of damage too. The receptionist is going to like turn back at her computer, and like her brain kind of goes for a second as she types away real quick, and then she's going to stand up and run for the stairs as well. Like kind of stopping for a moment as she kind of gets near this ice sculpture of a man, still not able to even parse what that is, but she knows that she does not want to be here, and she's going to run for the stairs. And that'll bring us back to the top of the initiative. Lutze, you see this like frazzled security guard, an ice sculpture man, and the receptionist running down.
So my assumption is at this stage they would have sent information that we're here. Although I don't hear an alarm.
That's what she just did, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that makes her a combatant. I don't want her to get away. I feel like the security guard could be dealt with. I'm going to go after her, and I'm going to try and send a roundhouse kick to her so she falls back down the stairs. Is my hope. Brutal. This poor woman.
Yeah. It's just going to be difficulty 1. She is like not even she's no training. She's like literally just there to like be at the desk and to like check stuff. And she's about to get a real nasty kick in the face.
So I don't know, like it's probably brawl, right? Because I don't want to hit her with my sword. I don't want to kill her necessarily. I just want to like knock her out or whatever.
Yeah, you could use brawl.
Still really good.
Yeah, I was gonna say you could still use your mystic as well for that.
Okay. I'm actually going to save it because I want to do something else.
Yep.
Okay, so I'll use a maneuver to run up to her. I will kick the shit out of her. So 3 successes and an advantage.
Yeah, how much is that gonna hit her for?
It's going to be 6.
Yeah, she's less, just not anything. So yeah, that's actually going to knock her out.
Okay, yeah. So I'll run up there and I'll like send this kick to like knock her back down the stairs. Then I would like to use my mysticism and spend an extra maneuver. So I'll take 2 strain to leap from the top of these stairs in front of the security guard and land right in front of him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that coordination or athletics, do you think?
Yeah, probably athletics.
Okay. And the difficulty?
2, just the standard.
Blammo. So 3 successes, a triumph, and 2 threat. So one of the suggestions here on this sheet that I linked is that you could take +1 defense as part of like getting a triumph. So I might do that if that's okay. So like I'll land right in front of him, and it's like at a bad angle, and he's like got his gun pointed whatever direction, and he's going to have difficulty hitting me.
Yeah, that absolutely. As far as the threat, God, this system is so hard.
Hard, right? It's really hard to GM. You have to do
Really
like
hard,
600 things at once. So for the threat, it's 2 threat. I'll look at this sheet here and see what it suggests. You could do a free maneuver. So he could like move away or
Yeah. I think like he was probably like already planning to like move back into the corner before taking his next shot. And like as you like land right in front of him, he's gonna kind of just like fall backwards, like crawl back away. He's gonna use his maneuver to like move away from you.
okay.
But you will still have the defense from the
Triumph.
triumph. So he's going to attempt to pull his gun back up, just like shaking his head, like there's like this person literally just like near teleporting around, just moving from place to place, and he's like not sure what to do, and he's terrified. But he's going
Don't
to
do it. I'll say to him, don't do it. Although I expect him to, but there's just, you know.
Do you already have one? You already have one range defense, right? So it'll be 2 from the
Yeah.
triumph. All right. It is Wow, he actually managed to still hit. So he's gonna hit one time. Do you have any soak?
I sure do. I've got 5 soak.
5. Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's actually enough to take nothing. So like he stumbles backwards, confused, terrified, out of his mind. You say like don't do it, but it's like he's a frightened, cornered animal. Like he doesn't know what's happening. So he just pulls the trigger. Another bullet roars out the crack, but you're like just able to just move out of the way of it, predicting the shot just exactly perfectly. You can like feel the bullet skim across your side, but it does not graze the skin, only the clothes at your side there. And he's just
Okay.
gonna look like this guy is dodging my bullets, and like not know what to do.
Yeah, I'll just look at him and I'll raise that eyebrow again, like I told you shouldn't have done it.
Alrighty, and all the other NPCs are gone. So that'll be you guys again.
I'll look at Void Shadow and tell her to try and get on the computer and see if she can undo whatever this woman typed.
Yeah, and at that, yeah, definitely Void Shadow would head towards the reception's desk and see if she set off the alarm, and if so, try to stop it. As in, like, say, you know, Mel, false alarm, that kind of thing. Just try to shut it off.
So you would know that at this point, like everybody in this place has already gotten the alarm. Like it just goes like straight to them. They probably have a decent idea. And you would also know that she would have been able to basically send a message, like through the chip in her head, just like basically a group chat of sorts. She wouldn't have had time to say much, but you would guess that she's already basically set everything off. You could like turn the alarm alert off, but most of the people will have already heard it.
Okay, so it's kind of just a moot thing. The damage is already done. The alarm's out there, and there's no real way of taking them down a level from.
If you did want to still try to get in to see if she like did any other security things, you'd be able to do that. But yeah, as far as the alarm itself, it would be, you know, it kind of would be a done deal.
How's that guy that's frozen? How is he? Is he still? Is he dead?
He is. You would assume that unless Iris does some real crazy shit, he's literally an ice sculpture.
I suggest that we take his proximity sensor, because if anybody's got clearance, he probably does.
Yeah. Is there a way for you to change where the alarm is going off? Is that something you could do? Like, so like currently it's like there's a problem in this area, but is there a way for you to like, I don't know, change So it's like, oh, it's actually into this sector instead,
Like they've gone upstairs or something away from where we're.
Right, or back the way we came or something, like they've made it outside already, something like that.
Would we know that? Like, is there a way of hacking into that alarm system, or is it really as soon as I get in there, they know it's me?
As far as them knowing it's you, that would really depend. You from earlier, they probably have a writer somewhere, so that person might be able to know what's going on, but the average person is not necessarily going to know that. So whether or not it would distract everybody, probably not, but you would maybe at least get some people.
Yeah, okay. I will try to send out the message that they've gone. Well, let's send them upstairs because we're heading downstairs. That's away from us. So let's send them upstairs. They're storming the lab or the research upstairs. We'll send out that alert.
Yeah, go ahead and give me computers.
So 3. I didn't really difficulty. Is there any difficulty?
2.
So 2 success and 1 disadvantage.
All right, so yeah, you're able to route the alert. You send out update to the prior alarm. The people were last seen heading up the stairs towards the research level, and you can see that goes out and is broadcast to everybody. The disadvantage, I'm going to say, is the writer who's been potentially interacting with you is going to see that this alert did not come from the like they're going to know that something might be weird, not necessarily that it was you, but that like there's
it's suspicious activity.
Yeah, suspicious activity. Like she sees the person like unconscious and then the message go out still, and maybe someone might raise an eyebrow at that. All right, so that was the first PC slot. So we still have Iris left. There is still this cowering security guard, gun still trained at Lutze, the fear of God on his face. I believe it's just Iris who hasn't gone yet this round.
So do I provoke? Like if I went up and touched his gun, would that? I don't know. Do you provoke in this game?
No, there's not really opportunity attacks in this system.
Okay. Yeah. Iris will run up and she'll like put her hand on the top of his gun, and she feels the metal inside it, and she closes her eyes, and the molecules all change, and it just dissolves into salt, and it falls out of his hand.
Yeah, he just like looks up in horror. Like this must be some nightmare. He must be in some terrible dream. Like as his gun just literally melts into salt, falling down onto him.
Yeah, I got 2
and
successes.
He's just gonna like, yeah, that's plenty enough. He's just gonna like put his hands like up over his eyes, half surrendering, half cowering in terrible fear, whimpering, just and confused. He's going to stop and give up. And that'll take us out of initiative, at least for the time being. Security guard has put himself at your mercy. The receptionist is unconscious halfway down the stairs, and the other strange man is quite literally ice.
So my gut tells me that this guy won't know where the thing is, or even if there is a thing, like he won't have any idea about it. Would be my guess. So all he is trouble. And let's say I would like raise that eyebrow again. Like, will I deal with him? Or do you want to ask him questions?
What's on the lower levels?
I don't know.
She'll look at Void Shadow and kind of give her a glance, and there's this kind of instant message that goes between them that says, make sure he's not communicating with anyone else.
So with that, Void Shadow would approach the guard and do we believe this guy knows anything? Because if not, I'm just going to knock him right out.
Can I try
It's
and
gonna be you guys to decide if you think he knows
Yeah.
anything.
can I try and use my mysticism to like tap into his thoughts? Like try and read his emotions and like not really his thoughts, but like to see if he's like telling the truth or not, like if he doesn't know what's going on down there or not. Like by detecting his like heart rate and like you know, like the way that ostensibly you could tell if somebody's lying if you're a wizard.
Yeah, go for it. Just give a is there any like insight equivalent in this system?
I don't see one.
I think it's like deception versus cool or vigilance, depending on what you're doing. And so
Okay.
if he's trying to deceive, then you get it. But there's nothing like real like insight.
Yeah. If you have a skill that you think would work, you can add your mysticism to that. Otherwise, just like a flat power mysticism power roll would be fine as well.
Okay. Vigilance? I don't know if that makes sense or not.
Yeah, maybe just a flat power roll.
Okay.
None of the skills really seem appropriate.
Okay. So there's 2 successes.
Yeah, so you reach out beyond regular perceptions, beyond sight and hearing, and into kind of his life energy, his spirit more than his body. And as you kind of feel around, you would see first off that his body is like nearly going into panic, like just utter complete panic. Like he's seeing like just crazy shit happen. Like most people wouldn't have seen people like you guys. So the idea that these things can just like, happen to people is like not making sense. His heart rate is like through the roof. He's like bordering on a panic attack. He's like almost hyperventilating. Like you get the sense that like he's probably just speaking on like he doesn't have it in him right now to like not say the truth. So like if he says he doesn't know, like he like to try to like his mind isn't in the state right now to like
Yeah.
fabricate. Like it's just like whatever's happening, he's just saying. The terror is taken over.
So I like have my eyes closed and my fingers steepled, and then I like open them and I'll look at the 2 of my companions and I'll just shake my head.
So that was the signal Void Shadow has been waiting for. She was standing over him, like kind of with her hand about to touch him. As soon as she sees you, Lucy do that, she touches the guy on his shoulder with her hand, and it's shock gloves, and she's going to set off a stun. Knock him out.
Yeah, he's given himself up, so you'll be able to knock him out easily. No resistance or roll necessary. The shot goes through, and unconsciousness is probably a gift to this man right now. Slipping away from reality and perception. And the room falls into silence. The whimpering stops as everybody here is either unconscious or made of not flesh.
And Void Shadow looks at Bootsy, and says, "We'll probably need that guy's proximity sensor." And she points at the frozen dude.
You can see Lutze like hears the words but doesn't understand what you mean. Like, what the hell's proximity sensor? He doesn't know what that means. So he says, "We need him alive."
Oh, oops. And so kind of go over there and kind of stare at him a second. Yeah, I can reverse that. Yeah, and she'll kind of talk herself through it for a minute and attempt to reverse the ice sculpturing. That's 2 successes and 3 black dots.
So this is actually turning all of his body into one thing. Ice or frozen water is easy. Turning ice into a fully functioning person is significantly more challenging.
Could I just go for the head?
I'll say this: if you want to spend 3 strain to get 5 successes, I'll let you basically turn his head back to a head. But that's about all as you're gonna get.
I'll do it. Yeah.
Yeah, so it takes a lot of effort. Like you're used to the symbols and the powers just working, but they don't. It's not enough. As you have to like really dig deep in and push yourself further than you're normally would otherwise. You're going to gain 3 strain for the effort, as you basically force your subconscious to push this system to work.
You can see a bead of sweat or 2 forming on her forehead, and the lights that are around her eye, and the computer that's embedded in her irises. They spark and they glow and then fade and glow and fade as she struggles with this. And then finally, just the head comes back.
Yeah, there's this eerie, almost gruesome display now. This like human head atop a frozen ice body. Some blood begins to like run down the sides of the shoulders from where the blood of the head still somewhat flows between the gaps in the ice.
Ew. That is grosser than it should have been. Sorry. I didn't think about us needing him in normal form, and I don't usually make things go back once I've done them. It's okay, that should be enough.
Yeah, so you're able to like take his head. If you wanted to, you could basically just rip out through the the bottom hole of where the neck normally would be, and tear the sensor out of the now disembodied head. Blood just continuing to pour down onto the ice sculpture. The heat of the blood like steaming some of the ice, and just like this grisly, real nasty display.
Yeah, Iris is actually gagging a little bit. She doesn't usually deal with blood. When she's had to deal with people, she turns them into something else that is much cleaner and neater. And this is disturbing for her.
We don't have time. We have to move.
Now, once I've worked the head off, I'll hand it to Void Shadow. Like, here, your turn.
Void Shadow gives you this like horrified look. And just like, what am I supposed to do with that?
I thought you said we needed it.
But I don't want to take it. You take it.
Fine.
Give me it and let's move.
Mm.
And he'll just like snatch it and like tie the hair to his belt, and then like get moving.
Boy Chatter would follow, purposely not looking at the rest of the body and the blood that's around them.
Yeah, so you guys are able to start heading down the stairs towards the lower levels. And we're going to take a super quick break before we get down to there. So grab a drink, use the restroom, whatever you need to. And we'll be back. We'll be back in just a moment.
So we're kind of like scumbag superheroes, right? Is the feel.
Yeah, it's very much like you know, you got to do shitty things to do the ultimate right thing, kind of thing.
It's got some of that Shadowrun feel too, of like each person on the mission has a specific job, you know, which I really like because it means that there's room for everyone to do a thing. And it also means that like players like me who will just like do everything if there's silence. I'm like, nope, that's not my job. That's somebody else. I'm stepping away, which is also kind of nice.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's like when the security system things comes up, it's not like you could be like, oh well, I'm gonna make my intelligence roll too
Yeah.
to see. It's just like I don't fucking know about that. Like that's not me. Somebody else do that. And the system is just like not possible to run. Like it's just
It's
so
hard.
much.
Yep. I
It's
always, like,
like,
when I finish running it, afterwards, I'm always just like, whew, because there's a lot to keep in my mind, you know?
yeah, and like I'm so used to like it's been so long since I've run a system that's not just like 5e based.
Mhm.
So like to like try to work out like other things and like I'm used to like the system just being secondary, just like knowing exactly what roles to call for and exactly how everything resolves.
Yep.
And then
I'm the
now
same.
suddenly it's like there's like all these different things and I don't know what any of them are. It's just like, oh man, so much.
I also feel like I always do myself a disservice in combat because I have to concentrate on so many things that I can't think about what the bad guys are going to do, you know, or like I can't really process how they're going to take their actions and stuff because there's so much going on.
Yeah. Alrighty, looks like everyone is back, so we will get back into it. So the three of you march forwards past the now bloodstained, slightly steaming ice sculpture. Are you just going to leave the unconscious body of the receptionist on the stairs? Just walk right by her?
So the first job that Lutze ever did, they left a loose end. They left somebody and like tied them up, but then a couple of weeks later, it came out that they had seen one of his friend's faces, and he was hunted down and murdered. And since that time, he knows he cannot leave loose ends, particularly if they've seen your face. So he would like encourage them to walk ahead, and then just like walk over and just slice the sword across the throat of the secretary.
All right, and you guys just knocked out the security guard as well. Are you going to do the same thing to him?
Like I would, although I would try and spare them from the
Yeah.
grim murder.
Yeah, so Iris and Void Shadow move on ahead, leaving Lutze to his dirty business. The blade easily just works through, ends them, and you're able to quickly flash down the stairs to catch up. The lower levels are much less. Like you can tell, like the main level looked like an office building. Like it was like the lobby was very clean, very corporate, very smooth and slick. The lower levels are not quite so. As you reach the bottom of the stairs, the door would be locked, but you would be able to raise the grisly head up to it to unlock it, triggering the proximity sensor and opening the door. These hallways are much more fair, just gray concrete, just very straight to the point. The corporate slickness not present in this floor. It's probably pretty clear that this is not any sort of front-facing part of this building. And as you like make your way into the locked area, I'm presuming. You would
Yeah.
see kind of one long concrete hall that would go down to another door, which is closed but not locked. And you'd be able to hear voices from the other side talking. They're speaking in like very clipped, almost like militaristic language. You would presume that now that presence of yours has been alerted, that there's probably going to be a little bit more heavy duty security, especially in these areas.
Luce waits for the other two to see what they want to do.
How many voices did we hear?
You only hear two talking to each other, but that's not necessarily a giveaway, especially when you can communicate by thought, essentially.
And there was no other doors or exits like this. The locked door, corridor, and then another door. Right, like there's just one way.
Yeah.
Iris would kind of fumble around, and you'll see her push back her jacket, and she pulls out what looks to be a small gun. She looks at Lutze and shrugs.
Void Shadow's got out her taser. That's the only thing she's got at this point. She's over here.
So my idea here would be to throw the severed head, to roll into the room, so they'll look in that direction, and then when they look there, I will teleport, as has become tradition now, on top of one of them and bring the pain train. That would be my idea, to like open up the festivities, unless either of the other two have an idea.
And when you kind of communicate that via flashes and little images, you see Iris nodding, and her own visual response is herself shooting at someone holding a massively oversized weapon in her head. It's, like as tall as they are, but that's how she pictures the guys in there with the guns, is like they have these huge things, and you see her little pea shooter going pew pew.
In Lutze's head, they're just like little idiot boys. They're just like little kids with like toy guns. That's how he sees them.
The Void Shadow doesn't quite see them quite like Iris, but much closer to Iris's picture than Lutze's. She's definitely the menacing, and she's got her little gun, and she's going to shoot one of the other ones that Iris is not.
The plan is communicated, the grisly opening, and you would be able to, assuming that that's what you're going to go with, slide the door open and throw the head in before then bursting into action. I guess in this system it would be like, I like that idea, so I want to give you guys like a boost, I would guess, to initiative. Would it just be like a blue dice? Like, it's normally like in 5e, it would just be like you guys have advantage or whatever. But
Yeah. Yeah, you can do that, or you can just give us straight up like an automatic success. So if you like on the thing, if you click symbols on the dice roller, it opens it up, and you can add specific things. So if you wanted to like do that, you could either add a boost, or you could add like just a success.
Yeah, I think it's probably not quite like a full success, but yeah, if you guys want, you will be able to add a blue dice to your initiative. It'll be cool. As you burst in, distracting them with the horrifying image of a severed head.
I'd like to use my super speed to throw down here to add successes.
Absolutely. Oh my god. Fuck.
So I go yesterday.
Yeah, you've already gone.
Jesus, that is 7 successes on initiative. Jesus.
All right, I'm gonna need to make a couple rolls here.
So I don't know if I can like turn those successes into something, maybe like a boost on my first turn or something.
Yeah, I'll say you can get like a free aim, like you won't have
Okay.
to use a maneuver for it.
Brad.
Alrighty. Let's see. Alrighty. People. Yeah, so I'm assuming based off of that Lutze is going to be the one that goes first. Like I don't see how it's any other way for this
It
one.
has to be. Yeah.
Yeah, just an extraordinary speed. Like the door bursts open, and the guards are ready. Like they're waiting. Like rifles are trained up at the door. But you can only you can only react so quickly to like a lightning bolt streaking through the room.
Okay, so what do I see in the room? What's the room look like? How many guards, etc.?
So there is a desk flipped over about 15 feet from where the door opened. You see there are two guards in full body armor, helmets with assault rifles pointed right at the door. To the left, you would see another fully armed man kind of off to the side to kind of create like a crossfire. And those would be the people that you would see right off the bat.
Did they have like helmets with like night vision goggles or anything like that on?
Yeah, they're in like basically like full SWAT gear.
Tactical. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to zip across the room behind that desk, and I'm just going to try and decapitate one of the guys. So I get that free aim. I'm then going to use a maneuver to aim and take 2 strain.
Alrighty, he has 1 melee defense.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. And
And
the
this will
difficulty?
be just a standard.
Okay.
It's gonna hurt. Oh.
Okay, but that's enough for a crit. So it will be 8 with Pierce 1. So technically 9, like ignores 1 soak. I will activate
a real nasty cut.
A crit for sure, and I'll use other advantages to give plus 10 on each, so it'll be plus 30 to the crit.
Do it up.
So it's going to be 115.
Ooh. Ooh. What's immobilized? Is that like completely out?
Let me see. Mobilized character cannot perform maneuvers at all. It says either accept duration until the end of the character's turn. Yeah, so it's actually less bad than staggered.
Okay, but yeah, you come down, aiming for the neck, but you can't quite get like the right angle. The sword like comes down and just like completely hamstrings him. Just like cuts deep into the back of his leg. As his leg is like coming back out as he's knelt down, it just comes down behind his back, like just. He's gonna be immobilized until that wound is healed. Like he's just
Okay.
done no movement. And he's real badly hurt. Like there's just blood pumping from like the back of his leg. He like grasps at it, not able to even bring himself to move at all.
Nice. That is 2 maneuvers and action. That's gonna be me done.
So let's say as these kind of the guards kind of train their guns towards you, it's not actually them who goes next. You hear this like weird chanting voice. You're not sure exactly even where from. Like you don't see a person right here. The voice kind of almost seems to like reverberate through the room. Just this very strange, weird sounds. It's almost like it grates your ears to hear the voice. Like something about it just doesn't seem right. And it's going to whisper to you, or at least it sounds like a whisper, even though it fills the room. Those that enter this place lay this curse upon their head, that they might know what suffering they bring, and squirm like the worms they are. And you're gonna like feel this like retching pain in your stomach. I'm gonna need you to make a discipline roll
Okay.
or a resilience. You can pick whichever you prefer. And she's gonna do the same.
Resilience comes from brawn, right?
I
I think so.
Yes.
so.
Yeah. Okay. And what's the difficult? Oh, it's just a roll off.
Yeah, she's gonna oppose you.
Okay. So I got 2 successes and 3 advantages.
She got a lot more than that. So you like feel your stomach start to squirm, and you're gonna like involuntarily like double over. Just this roaring pain in your abdomen. You're gonna throw up blood and maggots squirming as you just feel this insane pain within you. This curse that's just been laid upon you. This hex. She's going to commit 3 mystic dice to give you 3. She's going to increase the difficulty of all of your stuff for as long as the curse is upon you.
I can't see her, no?
No. Yeah, so the two of you, just like Iris and Void Shadow, you see like Lutze like jump over the table, just like cut into this guy, blood spurts everywhere, and then he just like stops and just like doubles over and vomits this mixture of like blood and writhing worm creatures. It'll be one of you guys.
Would we have ever seen anything like this before? Is this any kind of a talent or ability that would be familiar?
So you would know that some people who have sorcerer paths, it's basically like witchcraft. Like they draw their power through like weird occult rituals and like curses of the olden of like witches and things like that that they draw from. Whether or not you would have seen it like actually in person would be kind of up to you. But you would have at least, I imagine, heard of people who can do like these weird things like this.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen anything like this in person. Iris is taken aback, but she remembers the mental plan, and from her spot at the doorway, she's going to shoot at one of the armed men.
All right, so from where you're at, you'd be shooting at one of the two people behind the desk that Lutze just jumped over. Are you going to
Yes.
shoot the one that he cut, or are you going to shoot the other?
I was going to shoot the other.
All right, yeah, go ahead and make a ranged light. It'll be difficulty 2.
It's a failure, but an advantage.
Yeah, so like the bullet cracks out, missing. I'm going to say whichever comes first. Either the next attack against him will gain a blue die, or if he goes first, then he'll have a setback on his next action, whichever is the sooner.
Excellent. And I think for my maneuver, I'll actually just duck back around behind the doorway, not entering the room.
Yeah, you're able to duck back behind. The shot ringing out, not hitting, but kind of sending him into a dazzle from the echo, and the near miss and the distraction. But it is still another PC slot, so it will be Void Shadow.
So was there by the doors? Like, there was the guys behind the desk, but was there people by the doors as well?
So like basically like the room kind of opens up onto like the right side of like a rectangular room. There's the desk on the opposite side that's facing you guys, where there's 2 guards. There's another one to the left who's kind of making a crossfire.
Okay, so sticking to that mental plan where we each took out like different people. Void Shadow's attention is on the one providing the crossfire on the left there, and she's gonna shoot her. Is it short range?
Yeah, it'll be short range.
Yeah, she'll shoot that one.
And he does have 1 ranged defense as well.
So I take a setback,
Yes.
and it's difficulty 2.
Standard, yeah.
So everything cancels but an advantage. So I have 1 advantage.
Yeah, like he sees you go to shoot. He's gonna like duck down behind the cover that he's at. But it's going to set him back on his next attack that he's gonna make, as he has to kind of use most of his energy to avoid the fire.
And after shooting, is it a maneuver to like glance around the room and try to pinpoint where this voice was coming from?
If you want to roll a perception, if you have perception.
Yes, I would like to do that. Just straight perception?
Yep.
Okay, I didn't roll any like difficulties or anything, so I got 2 successes and an advantage.
Yeah, it would be a difficulty 2. Sorry, I keep forgetting that I have to specify that in the system.
So cancel the advantage. So I just have 2 successes.
So you like listen, you try to like pinpoint the location of this voice. It's difficult because of like the way that it echoes in the room, like unnaturally. And you would see something that kind of almost wouldn't make sense. You would think that you would hear it coming from the corner of the room behind this desk where these 2 people are, kind of but further back against the wall. But you don't see anybody there. But it's definitely coming from there.
I believe that's me is done.
All right, and after you yeah, because you used the maneuver to well, it's not necessarily a maneuver. So the these guards are going to open fire. The room is filled with the deafening roar of multiple assault rifles shooting in a concrete hallway. Two of them are going to shoot at Lutze, and the one that had been almost tased by Void Shadow is going to fire back at her. Alrighty, and I believe if they're firing at engaged range, that gives them a setback, I believe, right?
Yeah, or it increases the difficulty. I'm not too sure. I got this book. Give me 1 second. You upgrade the difficulty check by 1.
Okay, so it would be
I think-
3 instead of 2, or would it be like a red instead of a purple?
I think upgrade means turn 1 into a red. Because I think
I'll just do
increase the
that.
difficulty adds more dice, but upgrade changes it. Yeah, so a red and 2 purples. A red and a purple, rather.
Right,
I have a defense as well.
Ah, yes. All right, so the first one, the machine gun roars out at you. Ooh.
It's a despair. Get
It's a
fucked.
despair. Yeah. That's good for you guys.
So the common one, and like the one that I tend to use, is it runs out of ammo or jams. Like their weapon, if they're firing a ranged weapon, is always like a good one to have in your pocket.
Yeah, like he and this is the one that you slashed. So I imagine like when you cut, like he accidentally like bashes the gun against the desk, and it like knocks something off in there, and he goes to like bring it up and fire, but there's just like a nasty click as the gun does not fire how he wants to. He just like grabs at his leg in more pain and just like fuck, like he's just not able to do anything. The second one is going to fire as well. This one was the one that is, so he's going to have another setback because he was dazed by Iris's shot. No go for him too.
Ding, 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 ding. He's like blocking the bullets with his sword.
Yeah, just like Deadpool style, just cuts the bullets in half, and they like, it's just like a spray of bullets, but nothing's hitting, and he's like trying not to hit his friend who's like right like under you, and it forces him to be even more cautious than normal. And let's see, and he is going to take some strain from the tension of the situation as well, from the threat. And then, last but not least, do you have any ranged defense, Void Shadow?
I do not.
Alrighty. This guy's gonna try to let you have it. Damn, these guys are not doing it. So there's like the roar of bullets continues, but there's no benefit. They smash and crash into the concrete wall behind you, not able to make contact. But you are kind of forced to take kind of cover to move back, and it's going to give you a setback on your next action, as you're kind of forced to be suppressed by this fire, but you do not take any damage as he gets 2 advantages only. And that is the 3 of them firing just immense bullets and making no progress. That'll bring us back up to the top to you guys.
I'll go if it's okay. Would you have communicated where the voice is coming from, Void Shadow?
Yeah, absolutely. And the second I would have saw it, it would have immediately broadcast to you. All you would have seen, though, is like this empty corner, and then the feeling that there's something wrong there.
Okay. That's enough for, let's say, he knows that there's weird shit in this world. He's seen it many times. So this may be really stupid, but I'm just going to swing my sword in the direction that Void Shadow indicates. I'm going to go over there, and I'm just going to try and attack it, that area.
Alrighty, yeah, your body is like sluggish under the effect of this curse, so this is gonna be real tough.
What I might do actually is try and use my mysticism to like achieve a Zen state for the moment of the attack, if you allow that. So like to try and cancel it out, just for that
Alrighty,
moment.
yeah. If you want to just roll your mysticism dice for me real quick, and I'll say all right, so you'll need to take 2 strain to turn 2 of those into white to
Yep, I'll do so.
counteract her effects on you this turn. So you have to
Yep.
like push pretty hard. Like your body is just racked with pain. Like you're used to being like peak physical, like everything is smooth and easy. And it like takes a lot of effort to like force your body to remain still. And it strains you a little bit, but you'd be able to approach. You will still have a I'm gonna say it's still good because she's by all accounts not there. Like you don't know where she is. So I'm gonna say that this is gonna increase the difficulty by 1 as well. So it'll be a red and a purple, but you
Okay.
can make the attack.
No problem. I'll aim and spend 2 strain to aim again.
Do it up.
Okay, so 3 successes, 2 advantages. That'll be 9 damage with Pierce 1.
Woo.
If she's there.
And luckily for you, she is in fact there. So like you just like swing the blade at this space, and there's like a shriek, as like blood just like sprays the wall like from nowhere. She is not dead, but that'll really, really hurt.
Good.
I'm gonna say there's like some of the blood from the cut like spills down like onto her clothes. So even though you can't see her, you're gonna like see this like hanging red stain there
Perfect.
that's not affected. For the time being, you will still be under the effects of her curse because she is not dead and will continue to commit those dice to do so.
Yeah, I will be like telepathically screaming like, "Here, this," and I'll use those 2 advantages to remove 2 strain.
Perfect. Yeah, I imagine like seeing the attack actually work. It kind of
Exactly.
returns a sense of peace of mind to you,
Yeah.
knowing that this threat against you is within sight.
He also like achieved a sort of Zen state right before the attack, where he was able to like modulate his breathing and like get his senses in line for a moment, and even that brief moment like has calmed him somewhat.
All right, and now they will get a turn. This woman, presumably by the voice, you would guess woman, is going to use a maneuver to run, kind of back towards the other guard on the other side, kind of running towards the next door out. She's not able to make it out through the door, and then she's going to take cover behind the desk that's over there as well. The cover the 3rd guard is behind, and attempts to do her best to hide there from what will presumably be attacks. Now that she's been called out, that's going to be your turn. And that will bring, well, the rest of her turn is going to be committing, keeping the commitment of the curse effect on Lutze. And that will bring us to your guys' 2 slots. So whichever order you please.
Harris, who is outside the door, hears Lutze's here, 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 and feels that imperative command to come here and deal with this, and does so. And so she'll come into the room, and she's been getting those flashes of that red stain from Lutze, and now she sees it for herself with her own eyes. And will cross the room and pulling out another vial from the seemingly endless supply she has, will push it directly at this stain, and it will break on the clothes. And I'm going to try and turn her into dog shit. Why not? Is the suggestion in the chat.
Oh, we lose Jeff?
I was muted. So I was saying, because she's not just a normal person, this won't just be like a success or not. She's actually going to resist with discipline your attempt to transmute her. It will be a contested.
Okay. So what else do I roll?
So it will be your discipline plus your mystic dice.
Okay.
And luckily for you, she has committed all of her mystic dice. So.
That is lucky for me.
Ooh, that's still a good roll on her part, though.
Just got the one. Okay, so that's 4 whites, 2 blacks, and an advantage.
Alrighty. So she is at 3 successes. So yeah, those So as it stands right now, if you were to just use the white dice, you would have 1 success. So you would just deal just your flat damage. You can use the black pips as well to take more strain to do additional successes of damage.
Yes, I will do additional successes and see if I can at least turn the area roughly the size of my hand, which is probably covering a couple essential organs, into dog shit.
Yeah, so from the massive wound already inside of her, you reach your hand forwards, reaching just for that stained section before this vial breaks, going into her. There's another shriek as a portion of her body is transmuted, and her body goes into septic shock from all of it. And though you can't see it happening, there's just this disgusting smell that fills the air as the bacteria literally just tears away into her body and just eats at her. Her internal organs, not knowing how to handle it, soon don't handle it. And Lutze, you feel this burden within you, the blood kind of still spitting at your lips, the knots in your stomach fade.
Yeah, he for sure does a snot rocket, and some maggots fall out, and he takes a breath and then cracks his neck, and he looks at the soldiers who are standing there, and I think they feel their mortality approaching.
They definitely do, but for now, Void Shadow, you'll have one more slot before they will unleash their next hail of bullets.
The Void Shadow's going to aim and fire at that same one that she did before. And she's going to, so she's going to use her maneuver to aim. That gives her a boost die, is that correct?
Yeah, so at this point, Iris is actually right next to this person, so you will actually have an increased difficulty to shoot him. I believe is how ranged attacks work in this system. If you're shooting at somebody who's right next to somebody else.
I don't know.
So increased or upgraded?
So yeah, it'll be 3 purple, and you'll also have a setback from the armor as well, the defense.
Okay. All right. Here's hoping. A lot of disadvantage. So it's 3 successes, but with 3 disadvantage.
All right, and this is with the taser,
Yeah.
correct? All right, so what's the total damage going to be to him from that?
So you need 1 success to hit, right? So then it's 2
Yes.
additional. So that would be 8 points of stun damage.
All right, it's not quite going to knock him out in one go, but it's close. 3 disadvantage. Yeah, so you like tase this person. Like the electric current just goes like surging through him. And he's like struggling to keep his body like together, not like falling and losing it. But he's going to like look at you, and like vengeance in his eyes. He's going to from those 3 advantages, like lock in his soldier instincts kicking in, and he's gonna have a nice shot at you. And speaking of which, it is their turn. So he is going to lay into you real good. He's going to do a lot of aiming as well. You said no ranged defense? Sorry.
Yeah, none.
These guys are pathetic. So that is a failure. So he's not able to hit you. Once again. But he is going to use those advantages. So he did get a handful of advantages. Like he fires at you, and it's like everything you can just to not get hit. But one of the bullets does clip the taser in your hand, sending it sprawling from your grasp and onto the ground. He will force you to drop that weapon with his advantages. The soldier next to you, Lutse, is going to try to fill you with bullets again.
I've got 1 range defense, and if he's next to me, it upgrades his check, right?
Yes. Ooh, exactly 1 success. And nothing else. So he manages to finally, like it took like a witch's curse and a hail of bullets, but finally something hits. He brings the assault rifle up, just a spray of bullets everywhere. One of them clips into you. You feel it like hit just above your hip into your side, sending another spray of blood. And it's going to deal 7, which I believe will just be 2 after your soak.
Yeah.
Like most of it glances off the armor, but it just barely manages to like skim some of the flesh.
Perfect.
And then the last guard is going to shoot at Iris. Do you have any ranged defense?
No, I don't have any ranged
Okay.
defense.
All right, he's going to use some strain to aim again. Ooh, that's going to hurt. 2 advantages. Yeah, so there's like a huge spray of bullets. It just like takes aim, seeing your hand go across, and then the shrieking of this woman knows that something terrible has happened. And there's just a of gunfire. What's your soak?
1.
All right, this is really gonna hurt. So you're gonna take 8 wounds.
Oh,
As
jeez.
this assault rifle just rips into you. You feel like multiple bullets hit, not at vital spots, at least presumably not immediately vital spots. as blood just begins to pour. Your body almost knocked to the ground from the force of like multiple machine gun assault rifle bullets hitting you. And you're also going to have a setback on your next turn from the advantage. As
Yeah.
your body is like knocked around, making it more difficult to do what you're trying to do.
Yeah, no, she goes stumbling a few feet. As these hit her in the back, she had forgotten that there were other people. She was focused on what she was doing. No longer. There's a scream that just rips from her throat. She's not felt this kind of pain before.
Alrighty, and that is the soldiers finally managing to do something. They have succeeded. And that will take us back around up top.
So with the bullet like sprayed into him and the blood on the ground, he'll narrow his eyes and then close them and take a breath, and he's going to swing at the guy in front of him whose weapon is still working. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's no like terrible upgrade now, right? It's just going to be standard.
Yep, just normal. He does have 1 melee defense, so you'll add that in. 2 purple otherwise.
All right. I'll aim twice, spending strain to do so.
Yeah, do it up.
Yeah. Okay, so that's 7, 8, 9, 10 with Pierce 1, so effectively 11.
And this is, I don't believe this one has been hit yet. The one whose weapon did not gem was the other one.
Yeah, I was trying to hit the guy who hadn't been hurt.
Yeah, so that will not quite kill him, but it will just about.
Then I will crit him with those 3 advantages and +1, so it'll be +20 because of my vicious weapon.
Yep.
It's going to be 40 for the crit.
40. Yeah, the cut rips through this immaculate blade, cutting through his armor. It's not able to withstand the blow like he was hoping it would. And it cuts in, severely wounding him and like sending his body into shock almost. His next check will have an increased difficulty. It'll be red instead of purple as his body is thrown about by the massive slash.
Okay, can I? No, I've already done too many things. I've used both my maneuvers. That's it, me done.
Yeah, he's badly injured, almost down. He's like shaking on his feet, woozy from the loss of blood and the cut. And so, weird system question: if somebody dies, does their slot still stay? Their initiative slot? Because like right now in initiative, it's like you guys then them. So, but that was the witch's initiative. So is that gone? Or
I guess
would
you
the
just
other people
remove.
still fill in?
You would just remove one of them, I guess. You know.
Okay, well, I'm going to do the one that helps me.
For
I'm going to
sure.
remove
Yep.
the back one.
Just- They just don't get an extra turn. You know. You just, I guess, pick to remove one.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'll remove that last one. So it's going to be them. The soldier that shot at you, Void Shadow, reloads and is back up quicker than you were expecting. Gun ready again, in your now taserless hands. He's going to take aim, try to end you. Oh, and he's going to get a success. He finally did it. All his training was not to waste. There's a spray of bullets as you take multiple shots from this one. Void Shadow, you're going to take 7 minus whatever your soak is of wounds.
I have a soak of 2.
And so you'll take 5 wounds. And with that, he's going to, with the advantage, he's going to like rally the other soldiers, they still bleed like any others. And the next shot is going to get a boost die as well, as they now see that all of you have been wounded, that it can be done. And even though they are but men, they will still fight on. But that will bring us to the 2 other PC slots.
Iris turns, eyes kind of wild with pain and fear, searching for the source of the gunfire, and her eyes are locked on this weapon that has been shooting at her and at them, and she stumbles forward, her hand reaching out, and it closes over the barrel of the gun, and it turns the whole thing into rubber. At least I attempt to.
Yeah,
But I
if you want to
suffer a
go ahead
step
and
back, right? Which one is that?
that is a black die.
Okay.
So yeah, if you want to make a discipline with your mystic, and you'll add a setback to that.
Okay. 2 advantage, 3 white, 2 black.
Alrighty. So you're just trying to turn his gun into something, not actually affecting him. Is that correct?
Right. It's the gun. I'm turning it into rubber.
Alrighty. Yeah. With all those white, that'll be 3 successes. You'd be able to do that. What does that look like?
It just becomes soft and bendy in his hands. The whole thing. The barrel droops and the trigger won't squeeze, and the whole thing is useless. And Iris will use her maneuver to go back around towards the door as she clutches at some of the wounds in her sides and chest and arms, and it seems like everywhere.
Perfect. Yeah, one of their guns disabled, falls limp uselessly, no longer made of the correct materials needed for it to work. The guard just like drops to the ground, cursing. And then Void Shadow, last up for the PCs.
So Void Shadow, having had her taser shot out of her hand and then bullets piercing into her side, she looks at the guard that's been shooting at her. That's the one that just lost his gun, is correctly?
That was the one that Iris was right next to. So I would assume that was the one. He's also the one that's least dead.
So yeah, so Void Shadows at this point, then she's going to activate that internal kind of computer screen, and she's going to type like she's typing in air. Nobody else can really see what she's doing. And meanwhile, she is trying to activate his sensor in his head to produce kind of like a little sonic noise in his head to kind of confuse and hopefully irritate and hurt him.
Alrighty, yeah, go ahead and make computers and Mystic.
Difficulty.
It is going to be difficulty 2, but you'll also have a setback from being riddled with bullets, the advantage of last time. No, he used it to rally his friends, never mind. So he will not have a setback.
Okay. Okay, so I will end up with a triumph, a success, and a disadvantage. And And I'm going to use a strain to turn one of the black pips into another success. So that'll be a triumph and 2 successes and a disadvantage.
All right, yeah, with that, you're able to, because he was the one that got tased quite badly already.
Yes, yeah.
So that will actually be enough to put him over his strain. You like assault his mind, trying to desensitize him, not desensitize, but to frazzle him. And the amount of mental strain he's been under is too much. He's going to fall unconscious.
And at this point, there's still just the one left.
There is 2 still. They're both very badly cut.
She's going to use a maneuver to try to go towards wherever her taser was shot to and pick it up.
Okay. Yeah, you'd be able to do that. Alrighty, these last 2 guards, both very, very badly injured, are going to attempt to do in their the source of their terror. And they're both going to take aim at you, Lutze, being the one right next to them. One of them is with the jammed gun is going to pull a combat knife, try to stab you. The other is going to shoot with his gun, though he will suffer a penalty to do so.
Yeah, I have melee defense as well.
Nice. That is 1 success. So he he goes to stab you. But your soak is enough. 5 soak will be plenty against just a knife. He goes to stab you, but your armor is successful. It glances off to the side, not able to pierce in and make any progress. And the other will take aim desperately, trying to end you. Ooh, that's going to be 3 successes and a threat. Yeah, these shots go off despite his despite the quickness, despite being so close. He just points the gun up and lets out a spray. These ones piercing deeper in. That's going to be 9 wounds, which will be 4 after everything is said and done. From your soak.
Yep.
But it's going to leave him open. The threat, like he's just putting everything in, just like Rambo style, just unloading the machine gun in you, just desperately hoping. And he's not going to be in the proper defensive stance to resist. We're going to go back around.
I'm gonna cut him down.
Let him have it.
So is that a boost I get from him messing that up?
Yes.
Okay, 2 of these. And defense?
1.
Okay. I will aim just once. Bam. Okay.
He's a million times dead.
Yeah. So he'll just like lash out with the blade and like sever his head. I will. I'll remove a bunch of strain from the satisfaction of the blood. Tarantino-esque blood spurt up into the ceiling. Like close my eyes for a moment and like take a deep breath, and I'll remove a bunch of strain from me.
Now you're able to come back and do a focus. The satisfaction of your enemy's death and the relief of no longer being under such ill effects leave you rejuvenated. And that is 1 dead. There's 1 guy left, the guy with the knife. He's going to desperately claw at you 1 last time, Lutze. but just miserably fails. Yeah, like he tries to stab you, but it's just no use. Like with him being the only one left, you're easily able to focus on his strikes, just deflecting it easily with your blade, uselessly. This guy's no chump warrior, but he's nothing compared to somebody like you, and you easily outsword him. And then that will be you guys likely ending it.
Go ahead.
So yeah, so she would pick up the taser that's there, and she would look over and see that Lucy is kind of in combat with the other guard. And I think at this point she would decide to come in close and try to touch him, not Lucy, with the guard with her hands and deliver a shock from that. That would be a melee attack.
Yep, go ahead. He has 1 defense.
And so it's difficulty 2, right?
Yeah.
Can I take strain and aim on this?
Yeah, so you would have had to use your first maneuver to move, but you could use the second one to take 2 strain and aim to get a blue die.
That's what I will do. I have 1 failure.
Yeah, so you go to run up to try to strike at him, but Lutze, you are not, and while he is no match for his speed, he is a match for yours. He like brings up one arm to like grab at you at the elbow past like the shock to like prevent it from hitting him, like bringing up his knife to prevent the other hand stepping it back or at risk of being stabbed. He's able to deflect your attacks. And somehow remain standing despite his immense blood loss. And that will be to Iris.
Iris, from where she's managed to lean against a wall, sees Void Shadow engaged with this guard, and will attempt to shoot him. Oh. That's 2 threats, but nothing else. Nothing good.
2 threats.
I don't even know what that means in this.
Yeah, so you go to shoot, but between your 2 companions who are like both right next to him on like either side, it's hard to get a clean shot at the risk of hitting one of them. The shot's not able to connect. And the shot's gonna like whiz by Lutze, like disrupting his focus. And he's gonna suffer a setback on his next attack. As the threat breaks his focus just for the briefest moment. But that will bring him back to him.
To me?
Yes, to you, sorry.
Okay. Yep. It's slashing time. So a setback, and he has a defense, right?
Yes, so it'll be 2.
Okay. I'll aim twice.
Yep.
And 2 difficulty and kablamo. Yeah, it's going to be.
Yeah, he's very dead.
Yeah. So even with the bullet whizzing by, maybe you see him like frown for a split second, and then he like closes his eyes and slashes, and then flicks the blood onto the ground and puts the sword back into the scabbard.
And with the whiz of the blade, the guard lets out a final gurgle of of pain as he falls, his knife clattering to the ground uselessly next to his jammed gun. And with a bit of ringing in everyone's ears from so much gunfire in such a small place, but that's the only sound that you hear. It's the dull ring as everyone is dead.
I'll immediately start stripping one of the guards and take their armor. They had like this fine tactical armor or whatever. I'll immediately like take bits off that and put that on myself because I'm only wearing light armor.
Yeah, you'd be able to do so. It's a little banged up and cut in certain spots, but it's still functional.
White Shadow would like to grab one of their non-jammed guns. This definitely has gone from being a stealthier mission into a all-out, they know we're here, so she wants a little bit more firepower than what she's got.
Yep, you'd be able to grab an assault rifle from one of the guards pretty easily. It's going to be a ranged heavy weapon.
We have to move. Let's say we'll have taken a couple of seconds to like maybe sit cross-legged and find his focus again and like regulate his breathing. But then he'll like stand with like a smooth movement, put on the other armor, and then think like the more time we spend here, the more trouble we're in.
Yeah, as soon as White Shadow got the gun, she would have headed towards that door that that woman was running towards, and kind of. Is it a solid metal door like the other ones?
Yeah, it's the same material as most of the ones you've come across so far. You would still have the original severed head, which you could still be able to use to unlock it if you would be so inclined.
I think in the chaos, White Shadow would have forgotten about the head, actually. And she'd be looking at the door and trying to kind of listen to see what's on the other side, not that she can actually hear very well after all the gunfire.
So it is locked, though. But in theory, the head would be floating around somewhere.
Yes.
I think Iris might search around shakily for it. Not sure if she's feeling up to reaching into herself and finding it in her to transmute those molecules, and she'd kind of hold the head up, see if it would unlock.
And it would. There's a quick click as metal moves and the lock disengages.
Age before beauty. Let's say you're first. She gives kind of a weak smile.
He doesn't return it and moves quickly. I don't think you've maybe ever seen him smile. Thinks about the mission and not much else.
Yeah, you'd be able to proceed to the open door, moving it open. And the three of you would proceed further into the complex. You go down hallways, kind of looking through room to room. You would not find too much more armed resistance, at least immediately. Some workers here and there, which you'd be able to easily dispatch or interrogate for information. and you would be able to pick up that the second level is probably where you are going to be headed for, the second basement. You would be able to proceed in that direction if you'd like, assuming you do so. This person that you've managed to behead and take with you seems to have had quite the level of clearance. It's able to get through any of the doors that you've come across so far. You make your way down another set of stairs to the lower level. This room is not, this level is not segmented like the other ones into hallways and offices and rooms. It's almost a wide open plan. You're not exactly sure how it supports the upper levels. Architecturally, it doesn't seem like it would make sense, but somehow it is. And this room would just be like lined with a bunch of computers and like servers and all sorts of things. Like it seems to be kind of the, you would notice that this place being off the internet grid would have to have a lot of storage, actual manual storage on site. You seem to have come across into like a large server room.
Void Shadow would turn to Lutze and say, this is going to take me a while. I think there's going to be somebody here. You'll need to find him and put him down, or I can't get this done.
He'll nod and begin stalking away, looking. He looks at all this information as far as he understands it, like it's all here in this room. And he actually just says, should we not just destroy it?
We have to make sure that the information we seek is in here.
He nods and then prowls away looking for whoever might be in this big room.
And Void Shadow would go to the nearest kind of terminal, get settled, and start hacking into this gigantic system.
If Lutze goes,
Fine.
if Lutze goes left, then Iris is going to go right. Similarly, looking to see if there's anyone in here who would disrupt their plans.
Yeah, so the two of you begin stalking around the room, looking around servers, between servers, trying to find any trace, while Void Shadow gets to work on trying to break in, ensure that the information that you're looking for is here. If you would like to go ahead and give me a computers roll. And there's actually going to be technically no difficulty because you will be opposed on this roll.
Can I use my Mystic Dice with this as well?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay, so I've got 1 white, 1 black, and then 5 successes and an advantage. I'm definitely going to turn the white into a success. And I think she'd use the strain to put the other one into a success as well, knowing that she is going to meet some resistance. So.
All right, so what's your total successes then with all that?
7.
All right. And he got 6. So you go to start like hacking into it, and suddenly it's just like you like go through a portal, like one of the portals into like one of the systems, and then suddenly you're like back at the screen that you just went into, and you're like kind of confused for a second as you realize he's like trying to like route you through other systems. Somebody else is like counter hacking you, trying to keep you out as you go. You're not sure exactly where this person is. They have to be in the facility somewhere to be connecting to this system, but clearly he's not visible. And it takes a moment, a little bit of time to actually make any progress. But you are just barely able to work around him block him out, put up like an artificial firewall to prevent him tampering with you for too much, and it gives you just the space that you need to like dig through the systems. It's still going to take a little bit of time, but you are at least in. You have managed to get into the servers, and you're like starting to browse through all these files. And if the other two of you would like to give me perceptions real quick.
What do we add to a perception? Anything?
I think it goes off cunning. Is that right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, it's cunning.
So if you have any cunning, you'll put in those as green dice, but if you have any training, you make them yellow dice. What was the difficulty, Jeff?
Oh, I've been doing that wrong all game. Oops. It's okay. It's been in Jeff's favor.
Fair enough.
Is there a difficulty? No?
No, I guess.
Okay. I'd like to try and do my sense the world thing again that I tried before. If that's okay, to try and like sense. Okay, so I'll use those 2 whites for 2 successes, so there'll be 2 successes, 2 advantage.
I got 2 advantage, but no success.
Neither of you see anything or sense anything.
That being the case, I'll return to Void Shadow and just protect her and wait.
I'll do likewise.
As you're returning, Iris, it's going to be you. Like it's literally almost as somebody comes out of nowhere. Like you're walking like between servers, and you don't see anybody, and then suddenly there's like a person right in front of you. And I'm gonna need you to roll vigilance. It'll be real quick.
And vigilance is based off of.
I feel like it might be discipline, but that's a guess. Or willpower.
Willpower.
Willpower? Okay. I lose.
Yeah, there's a person. You don't know where he came from or how he got there. Like you just looked and you knew that Lutze was looking as well. And then suddenly he's there anyways. And he's going to try to stab you. Ooh, succeeding a lot.
Oh, jeez. I don't think I have any melee defense either.
Oh, I forgot to add difficulty, actually, so he might get less. Threats cancel advantages, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Not successes, unfortunately.
Right, so it's still gonna hurt. That is going to be
I have 1 soak.
ooh, it's gonna be 7 then.
Oh shoot. What happens? That puts me hit.
So if you fall, you take a critical wound, critical injury.
Yeah, I'm at 15 out of 12.
I'm pretty sure that when you go ahead, Jeff, sorry.
So, I think you get like a permanent wound, right?
I think you roll on the crit table.
Yeah.
I saw error on this game sometimes.
Yeah, that sounds right. Ooh, and he's gonna use the last remaining advantage to bump that up by 10.
Of course he is.
Yeah. So he's knocked out and incapacitated until his wounds are reduced so that they no longer exceed the wound threshold. They immediately suffer 1 critical injury.
So I am immediately unconscious and I suffer a critical injury?
Yes.
So I'd like to imagine that we'd been kind of keeping our little comm link between the three of us semi-open, and then there's just because there's no time for a sound.
Mm.
I'm just down.
Yeah, your wound is going to be at 33.
Wait, what is? Like
So
my
that'll
wound
only matter
level?
if someone like keeps stabbing you. Because like if your wounds get over 150, you just die.
Okay, because my threshold is 12.
Yeah, this is meant
Yeah,
for the
so this is
critical.
like a separate number. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's down here. Okay.
Yeah. So the effect of the crit won't matter because you're unconscious, but that number will be there in case you take continued damage. Yeah.
What did you say
So
it was
33.
Okay.
I think you just keep adding 10. I'm not sure if you add the previous number. I think you just keep adding 10 every time that they get hit again. It's also the case where if you are crit more than once, you add 10 every time. But I'm not sure on that.
Yeah, that's what I'm reading. That every time you suffer a critical injury, if you haven't healed the previous one, then it's plus 10 on the D100 roll. Until eventually you're going to get over a lot and just outright die.
Yeah. So the other two of you would like hear Iris's steps coming back towards you and like hear the comm link that's open between you, which just like falls dead. Imagine you hear like a as her body hits, and then the connection is lost.
Okay, I would like to begin like channeling or like controlling my my Zen. I'm going to try and commit to give me accurate to, or to increase
Okay.
my skill with the. Yeah, let's go for accurate. So I'll just commit 2 of my my things, and yeah, give me accurate too.
Yeah, you focus in, trying to keep the calm for the coming moments. Are you going
And I'll
to
just-
wait next to Void Shadow to continue protecting?
Yes, yeah, I'm going to wait and be vigilant. Like straining to hear or like searching, but just waiting.
Alrighty, and in Void Shadow, if you would give another computers roll.
Is it still opposed?
Yes.
I'm going to take a strain to turn one of the blacks into a success, so it'll be a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes and 2 advantage.
And again, that is just going to barely win. So you're able to make more progress. You're like digging through, trying to find like these servers like are huge. So trying to find exactly what you need is taking some time. But you do make more progress. You like set up like an algorithm to like filter through even faster, letting the your connection to the AI move you at faster speeds and search with better efficiency. And then if you would go ahead and do a vigilance, Lutze, you will of course be able to use your bonuses.
Okay. So I committed 2 of my dice to the accuracy, so I'll just use 1. My vigilance 2. Difficulty?
This is initiative, so.
Okay. Yeah, not bad. I will use my missus. Okay. Yep. Just lots of advantages.
Yeah, so you're like ready, but this person is like as the speed and power that you move with, like he moves with similar speeds, though much more careful and quick rather than pure strength. he's going to sprint forwards and seeing Void Shadow work, try to stab her. Do you have melee defense, Void Shadow?
I have one.
Alright, that's going to be one success. Yeah, this knife that he has like pierces in through your armor. You feel the stinging pain and blood run down as he will deal 5 minus soak to you.
So I take 3.
And with the 3 advantages, he's going to the dagger like pierces in, punching through your armor. And he's going to like target that spot, and your armor bonus is going to be gone for the next round, as he has an opening. But Lutze, you will be able to respond now.
Hopefully with swift and final sort of attacks here. So what's the difficulty to hit him?
So this is going to be a red and a purple.
Okay. I will aim twice. And go for it.
He does
Jesus.
not have defense.
Okay.
There's a lot of stuff.
I'll spend the requisite strain to turn those into hits, which is what? 2 strain? To turn those 2 blacks into whites?
Yes.
Okay, so that will be 2, 3. So it'll be 12 damage with Pierce 1.
Jesus.
And it's going to be a crit with plus 50 because of the amount of advantages that I have.
Whew. All right. Hit him hard.
It's going to be 86 on the crit.
Ouch. Compromised. Difficulty of everything he does is going to be increased.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, so this huge slash comes out. He moves with like an astounding speed. Like he almost seems to potentially match yours. But as he stabs into Void Shadow, you take the opportunity to return the favor back to him with a massive cut. He has no armor. He seems to keep it off to keep speed over that. So the hit just hits him hard. It's going to like cut into like his arm, which is going to like kind of fall a little bit limp. He won't be able to hit nearly as effectively anymore. Right, and Void Shadow, are you going to attempt to continue computing, or are you going to attempt to resist and fight?
The mission! The mission!
I'm going to continue computing and hoping. I'm trusting in Lutze to protect me, and yeah, I'm going to continue hacking and trying to find where this is so that we can destroy it.
Alrighty.
Okay, I just got a bunch of black, so I'm going to use strain, 3 strain to convert all 3 of them into successes, and that'll give me 4 successes, 4 advantage. Can I use the advantage at all to like to reduce strain? Can you do that against on post checks?
You can spend advantages to remove strain. Yeah.
Is it 1 for 1?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I would do that at this case.
Yeah, so you focus, realizing the importance of what's happening. Calm yourself, even though you're pushing yourself very hard to out-hack this person who seems to be fighting you. You manage to find a sort of peace in it to keep yourself focused. You will continue to make progress. You've like, at this point, you've like found the location that it's in. You just need to like finish pinpointing it and actually get rid of it. But you're almost there. This man is going to like he's clutching at his wound. His arm is like limp. He's not sure he's going to be able to fight. And then there's like a blast of smoke, and he's gone. You hear footsteps against the metal and the concrete going away from you. He's going to engage a power and disappear to run away. He's going to turn his action into a maneuver to continue running. Like he just hears these steps go away down through the concrete room and out.
I'll drop my commitment and try and mysticism after him, if I can do that.
Yeah, go for it.
Athletics, right?
Yes. Difficulty standard.
Kablam. Yeah, so it's going to be 5 successes.
Yeah, so you follow. You can like, you can't see him, but you can like see blood stains from that have dripped from the wounds onto the ground. And you can hear his footsteps, like focusing in with your power to like make it even all the more apparent. And you're able to catch up to what you think is him.
Okay, I'm gonna smash him.
Let him have it. Feel like he's gonna have a bad day.
Hopefully. It's a red and a purple, right?
Yes, red and a purple, but no defense.
I'll aim. Oh no, that'll put me at maximum strain. Okay, here we go. Get the fuck in. Yes. It's going to be a hit for 8 damage and a triumph, which I will turn into a crit.
Yeah, he has minimal soak, and you cut him up real good last time. So that'll be it. That'll be the end.
Perfect. So I might use that triumph then, like with the spray to regain some strain.
Yeah.
3.
Yep. That works for me.
Yeah. I like look down at the ruin of this man, and he'll begin like rifling through to see like what the hell it was, and like search for any key cards. And he, when he thinks it's necessary, will just sever the head and bring it back to the writer, which he thinks now is like a thing that you have to do when you kill the important people.
Yeah, you're able to take his head, and if you would also like to, this like weird twisted dagger that he has, it's like made of this like weird black metal.
Yeah, I'll take it for sure.
And you return just in time, Void Shadow. Potentially one last computer's roll.
Okay, here we go. Okay. 2 strain to transfer 2 blocks to make successes, and that'll be 3 successes. And 3 advantage.
All right, so that is actually not enough this time. You like try to break through, and finally,
Can I use the
the,
advantage to like get a boost on the next one I do?
yeah, that works for me. Yeah, so you're like trying to push through, like desperately just trying to get this done. As Lutze comes back behind you, but you're the wound making it harder to focus. This guy actually gets a number up on you, and like seems to block you out a little bit more. You guys would go ahead.
I was just going to say Lutze would hear her cursing as he came back in the room. Still there!
He'll drop the head next to you, in case that's useful. So at the end of an encounter, you can make a simple discipline or cool check and recover the amount of strain. Is the encounter over?
Yeah.
Okay,
This
I'll
is
definitely.
about to be the end here, so I don't think it'll come into
Sure.
the play. But
Okay, so I'll drop the head, and then I'll try and find Iris. I'll begin searching.
yeah, it wouldn't be too hard to find. A pool of blood has kind of formed around where she was.
No, I don't have any like mystical transmutation powers to fix that. But maybe with like pressure points, like I'll be able to slow the bleeding and like get her stable at least using my mysticism.
Yeah, if you want to do a medicine and mysticism.
Okay, I definitely don't have any medicine. Is that intellect?
I believe so.
Jesus. Oh, there's no difficulty. What's the difficulty?
For a bleeding out person, I'm gonna say 3.
Okay, yeah, absolutely smash it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 successes and 1 advantage.
These, yeah. So describe like what is that? What even happens there? Like as
Yeah, so he
as you
like
use your powers.
he'll kneel over her and he'll like close his eyes and he will like when he opens them see like chakras and auras, which is kind of where his power comes from, and he'll like squeeze various pressure points and like get the blood flowing again, and then like tightly bind the actual wound and like get her into like a stable state.
Yeah, you managed to stop the bleeding. As Iris will not bleed out anymore. All right, Void Shadow. If you can wrap this up.
That's a lot of arrows. Nothing but arrows. So 3 more strain to convert those into successes. So it'll be 3 successes and 8 advantage. Crazy. Yes, I don't know if that worked or not.
Yeah, that's going to be enough actually with that many advantages to be able to overpower the little bit that he had. You somehow like you get the upper hand again. You manage to make it through, and you kind of just tapping into the subconscious level using the AI's intelligence as your own for the moment. Able to search frantically through the rest of the files. You find the one that you're looking for, and you're able to pull it up, and if you so choose, assuming, delete it.
Yeah, I'm going to delete it, and not only that, I'm going to leave. I'd like to leave behind, kind of like a Trojan or a virus, so that if anybody else tries to access this or any of its echoes, that whatever device that they're on will also immediately kind of get wiped clean as well, so that there's no recovering this data. I basically, I want it gone, and no remote person can, like, they can't remote in and try to grab it because I'm going to infect them.
Yeah, you remove this file from existence and set up a trap for anybody who tries to come in afterwards. And with the file gone, the mission will be complete. And as you turn back towards the stairs, you would hear the thunders of more footsteps heading from floors above towards you. And on that cliffhanger is where we will end it.
All right, that was fun.
God, this system is not easy.
It's hard on the GM for sure. It requires a lot of work in the GM.
Tough.
Yep, I really like it, but I like it more as a player, definitely, than as a GM because it's hard to run.
Yeah,
A
Jesus.
lot of moving parts, a lot of really specific rules, you know. like you're not just making an attack, you're making an attack and you have to consider all of the different things and the distances and stuff. And it's like, I don't know, man, just roll a d20, like, you know.
Alrighty, well, thanks to anybody who watched. Hopefully it was enjoyable. Thanks for playing. I'm gonna go ahead and cut broadcast here. That was fun.